Cloud. Lovely. All right. We're up and running. That will drive me crazy $40. So move that out of the way. How's that? All right. So today we are focused on cultivating your leads into seller opportunities, right?
Mm-hmm.
We want to sell some stuff. Cool. So before we jump in, does anybody have anything from any part of Ignite or in general that we want to discuss? Any questions? Anything they want to express gratitude about so far? Anything you're excited about? Anything you're nervous about? Wide open platform. Anything we want to go through? Michelle's good.
Yeah, I'm kind of all of those things.
All of those things. All right. You want
Excited, nervous, grateful, blessed. Yes.
Cool. Well, what are you most grateful for right now?
Well, it kind of.
You muted yourself again, Rhonda.
Sorry. I must
Brilliant.
have leaned on it. Okay, so between like Thanksgiving and the first couple of weeks of the new year was kind of like just bam, 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 like so much going on. My husband had a stroke in early January. So it's like y'all came along, like I noticed the email about this class, like right at the perfect time in my life, like I needed this. So I feel truly blessed and grateful for this because I feel like I was way off course and I'm seeing like a track in front of me now, you know?
Yay. Well, I'm very sorry to hear about your husband, and I'm very excited to hear that you've got some direction. So that's a blessing. That's awesome.
Absolutely. Thank you.
And you have baby goats, which are awesome. So
and my baby goats, they're so cute.
Love it. Okay. What are you most nervous about?
I'm getting better, but like I was really nervous to go on that listing presentation, but I think I did a really good job. And I wasn't, I hate to say this, but I took a Xanax before I went because I get anxiety and my mouth gets really dry. So I was like, you know, I'll go to sleep after I get back home if it makes me feel that way, you know. But I got through it really good. My mouth didn't get dry. I think I did a really great job.
Good.
So if that's what I need to do for my first couple until, you know, whenever, then that's what I'm gonna do. I'm not a druggie. I had it for a reason at one point in my life, and I still have some. So if that makes any sense, like I never got a refill and I still have some.
You're so funny.
I know, right? So anyway, I reached back out to the buyer again yesterday, and he let me know that he did go with his wife's friend. But I'm okay with that, you know, because I feel like that was a learning experience for me, and it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. So, yeah, that's kind of, you know, I'm still going to be nervous about it, but I'm at least making the steps, you know, I'm stepping out of my comfort zone.
Absolutely. So that's a big part of it, right? Is realizing we've got to step out of our comfort zone. And this is what you guys have to remember. You have to be told no, right? That's your biggest hurdle in the beginning, getting over, of realizing that no's aren't a failure, right? It's a sheer numbers game. So if you're worried about, well, I went on this appointment and they said no, I'm doomed to failure, you are, right? If that's the way that you're going into it, you are doomed to failure, because you're going to get told no way more than you get told yes. Way, way, way more. And that's totally okay. Right? So I love that. Cool. Anybody else want to share anything? We're ready to move. Ready to move? All right, let's do it. So as a reminder, right? Every day, grow your business, run your business. This is what successful agents are doing, right? So our goal is to always model this, right? If you don't have this tattooed on your body yet, you might want to, or at least print this out and stick this somewhere where you're going to see it every day, right? Super, super, super important. So what we're focusing on today, again, our top thing for our top 20% lead generating for buyers and sellers. Specifically, we're looking at sellers. So much like we did yesterday, understanding the importance of our database is going to help us jump into being very, very, very successful in the growing and the running of our business, right? So our goal for today is to teach you some skills that'll get you from having a contact in your sphere to set a listing appointment, right? So I want to make sure that you understand, once these people get into your lead generation funnel and they're no longer just a lead and they've become a contact, you've got this two-way permission, they're now in your sphere, right? They may not be close personal friends or family at this point, but they are in your sphere. So every time you're talking to somebody, if you have that limiting belief, or you have that mindset of, well, I don't have a very big sphere, start talking to people. Your sphere just got one bigger, and then one bigger, and then one bigger, okay? So we're working on getting into having some seller opportunities. So here's our path for today. We're going to go through and understand motivation. We're going to talk about qualifying our seller leads, very similarly to what we did yesterday with qualifying our buyer leads. We'll get into pre-qualifying sellers, much like we did yesterday with pre-qualifying our buyers. And then we're going to talk about the listing presentation. Okay? So in order to work with sellers, hopefully this is common sense, you got to find seller leads, right? I can't sell a house if I don't have anybody to talk to. Okay? So let's figure out where we can find our seller leads at. As a quick reminder, people who are on the do not call list are on there for a reason, right? I'm sure all of us have had the annoyance of telemarketers calling us for things we don't want, right? So don't become that person, right? If you didn't see it, the do not call list is on your Trello board. It is, there was a post the other day on our Facebook page about it. You can absolutely get to this thing. Yeah. Okay, so please respect anybody who's on the do not call registry. And in a perfect world, right, you're calling people that are in your sphere already, and or you have been referred to them because you now have permission, right? Now, if someone's a for sale by owner, they've put their contact number on the internet, they've raised their hand and say, hey, I want to sell my house. Can you call those people? Yeah. Somebody who's an expired listing, they had raised their hand and said, ooh, I want to sell my house. Can you call those people? Yeah. Right? Just grabbing the phone book and start dialing, probably a bad plan. Right? Okay. So finding seller leads. If you look at page 4 of your participant guide, we're going to go through and find these, find the seller leads, right? So you've got your database, right? Your database is a huge place where you can find leads, right? Someone remind me, right? Be a good teacher's pet for me. Somebody remind me, what percentage of your database is going to have a real estate related transaction this year?
I know you said
6%. She said it like she knew it. 6%. I love it. 6%. So someone's in there going to either buy or sell a house, or they know someone directly that's going to buy or sell a house. So we should probably ask the people in our database, right? It's that simple, right? You've got your daily 10-4. Oh no, here comes accountability again. Your daily 10-4, if I'm talking to 10 people, if I'm updating my database, I'm putting new people into my database, if I'm following up, right? Send a note to the person who does your hair. and thank them for being awesome, right? It wasn't too long ago we all went into quarantine and everybody couldn't get their hair cut for months and months and months. Remember to appreciate that person, right? So send them a follow-up note, and then who's previewing homes? Okay, rhetorical at this point because I don't want to put anybody on blast, but your daily 10-4 is definitely a place to find leads. Open houses. We're starting to get back into normalcy, quote unquote, our new normal, but people are doing open houses again. Guys, in other parts of the country right now, it's standing room only at open houses. There are lines out the door, 40, 50, 100, 200 people coming to open houses, 30, 40 offers coming in on houses. Those are all people who want to buy a house. Those are also people who probably have to sell a house first. So why not become one of the best people getting back into open houses right now? There's not a lot going on yet. Why not double down and make that part of your deal and become really, really good at open houses? And then it's people coming who want to see the house. You don't like cold calls? How about talking to people face to face who want to see a house? That seems like a better plan, right? And then referrals, right? One of the areas that a lot of agents struggle in is I talk to someone in my database, right? And first of all, I probably have trouble asking for the business, right? So we've got to start working to get over that first fear of, hey Natalie, how are you? Blah, blah, blah. Just wanted to let you know I'm in real estate now. You know, if you ever need anything real estate related, even if it's just me referring a plumber or a HVAC person to you, I'd love to be of service to you. Cool. I've started to ask for business, right? And then we don't go that next step and ask for a referral. So let's take a mindset pause for a minute and think about that. If Michelle's in my database and we're friends, and I call her and I ask either for her business or we're talking about referrals in this case, hey Michelle, if you know anybody that's going to be buying or selling, maybe getting into investing, maybe wants to get into real estate as a profession, would you think of me and send me their contact information and give mine to them? If we're friends and she likes me, like that should be an easy ask. Yeah, I got you, no problem. That's so easy for me to do, right? Again, with all of the stuff that happened in 2020, all of the posts online, right? Support local businesses. Support your friends who have local businesses. We all rallied around helping each other out. And why, as agents, are we afraid to ask for that help? You're a small business owner. You don't get any leads that then convert into buyers or sellers. You don't get any money. Don't be afraid to ask your friends for help, okay? So, as a reminder, what's your number one most important job as a real estate agent?
Lead generation.
Say it like you mean it. Lead generation, right?
I don't really mean it quite yet.
You don't quite mean it yet. I know the answer, I don't quite mean it yet. I've got to find people to help, right? So here's the mindset challenge for you, Natalie, right?
Okay.
Don't just think lead generating is cold calls, right?
Mhm.
That's where one of your sticking points is.
Mhm.
It's not.
Mhm.
Lead generating is just what I had you do yesterday. Call your siblings,
Right.
right?
Mhm.
Just stay in touch.
Mhm.
Call your best friend from high school,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Call anybody, like my wife plays Pekino. Call the Pekino ladies, right?
Yeah.
That's lead generating because these people like me, I like them. I'm just telling them what I'm doing,
Yeah.
and that's going to lead to something.
Mhm.
As opposed to, I need you to buy something from me right now, Natalie.
Yeah.
Oh, don't be that person. That's terrible, right?
Yeah.
Cool. So, besides these, right? Besides database, besides open house, besides daily 10-4, and referrals, where else can we find seller leads?
MLS,
Sure. How?
expired.
Maybe I get into expires. Love it. Okay. Where else can I find seller leads? Where else would you find
Church
seller
and
leads?
schools.
Say that again, Jay.
church and school, like somebody that might say, hey, this guy's moving or something like that.
Sure, right? Your church groups, school groups,
Mhm.
right? Your other work, if you still are working somewhere else,
Mhm.
right? Maybe your spouse's work
Uh-huh.
or groups they're in, right? So I'll give you a random one. Okay, I'll give you a random one. Not a seller lead, but it's a lead that turned into a contact who turned into a financial benefit to me. So I'm sitting at my friend's house playing poker, playing cards, and we're just shooting the you know what, right? Having a good time playing cards, right? Having a tasty adult beverage, right? Eating some chips, right? Playing for $20, right? Nobody's losing their shirt. And as we're talking, real estate comes up, right? I'm playing with my friend, I'm playing with my nephew, I'm playing with this other guy I don't know, and then it's me. So it's four of us. We're just playing some cards. And real estate comes up. My nephew asked me, how's things been going with real estate, blah, 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 blah. I said, man, they're great. Just got done selling another house yesterday, blah, 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 whatever it was. And the guy who's sitting next to me, who I had just met, was like, oh man, you're in real estate? I said, yeah. He's like, who are you with? I'm like, Keller Williams. He's like, cool. I just finished my 90-hour course. I was like, really? He's like, yeah. I said, have you picked a brokerage or anything like that? He's like, no, blah, blah, blah. I said, well, you should come to career night, check us out, blah, 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 blah. You want to take a guess who that person is? It's Chris Letard,
Oh, really?
right?
He's such a nice
He's
guy.
such a nice guy.
He is looks like the most trustworthy person.
He's awesome.
The
Now,
one here on the
The
first
one that
day.
was here the first day, right?
Yeah.
So Chris, like, it's super funny, right? Because he's also in a death metal band, right? You
Oh, how funny.
right? He plays all
That
kinds
is
of
really-
music.
That's really surprising.
Oh, it's hilarious, right? So he's hard rocker too.
Uh-huh.
But Chris joined Keller Williams.
Uh-huh.
He's in my profit share tree,
Uh-huh.
and he's a great agent.
That doesn't surprise me.
That he's a great agent?
Yeah.
No, it does. It shouldn't, right? Super
Uh-huh.
great guy.
Yeah, he really is.
So here's my question. Was I actively recruiting at that point? No,
No.
I was just being me, right? Having fun, right?
Uh-huh.
Trying to beat him at a game of cards, right?
Yeah.
Joking and laughing and having fun.
Uh-huh.
Real estate came up, and because the conversation came up, it turned into an opportunity.
Mhm.
Now, it's a win-win, right?
Mhm.
If you're just having the conversations and all of a sudden someone needs you to buy a house for them, right? Help them in that process or help them sell their house. If you can then do that and do it at a high level, that's a win for you and a win for them just by being open to the conversation.
Mhm.
Make sense?
Mhm.
Cool. All right. So you've got to, and some of us may challenge me on this word, you've got to leverage your sphere of influence, right? You've got to allow them to help work for you because you can't be everywhere.
Mhm.
And if your sister in South Carolina all of a sudden calls and says, hey, I've got a friend of mine who needs to buy or sell a house, cool. You can help arrange and find somebody great in South Carolina
Uh-huh.
to help her find a house, and wait for it, you get a referral.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome, right?
Yeah, it is.
Just by you caring about your friend, your sister's friend.
Uh-huh.
Cool. Like, you want to pay me to care about people? I'm in, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're all about building a referral business. We're all about getting people to get into relationships with us so we can be better for them, right? It's all about that. In your toolkit, there is an open house job aid, right? So kind of a description,
Mhm.
right? There's a whole class in elementals on open houses, right? So I'm not going to go too far into that. But don't forget, in your toolkit, there's all kinds of fun stuff for you to click through and use.
Mhm.
Okay?
Okay.
Awesome. All right. So we've looked at where we can find them, right? I'll go on record to say they're everywhere. I found one person playing cards, right? You could find somebody at the post office.
Right.
You could find somebody at the grocery store.
Mhm.
You could find somebody picking your kids up from daycare,
Mhm.
right? All of a sudden, you just happen to hear, oh, so-and-so yeah, we're gonna be moving, we're not gonna be in daycare anymore because we're moving to Livingston Parish. Oh my goodness. Hey, I'm sorry to see you go. Do you need any help with that? I'm actually in real estate. Oh my God, Anthony, I'd love that, right? Our kids have been in daycare together for 6 years. Cool, right? We now know what's going on, right? Okay, so qualifying and converting seller leads. So we're gonna switch gears and learn about what comes after generating the leads. You've got to connect, you've got to pre-qualify, and then you've got to convert your leads into actual listing appointments. Okay? That they are interested in selling their home. First, right, you need to connect with those people. So you're the real estate agent of choice, right? You want to connect with them. Number two, you need to understand how ready are they, right? Just like the buyers. Are you ready right now? Are you ready soon? Or are you ready like at some point I'm gonna sell my house? Make sense? And then you're gonna pre-qualify them, right? To figure out, are you really, really ready? Right? Are you ready, willing, and able? Or I want to sell my house, but like there's no windows on the back of it. Oh, well, maybe we're not really, really ready. Okay. And then finally, we're going to do a listing presentation and secure the listing so we can get the business, right? So each step is important that you then follow up, right? I can't say this enough. You follow up, you follow up, you follow up, right? You don't go away, okay? If they're not ready, willing, and able, that doesn't mean that's a no. It means not right now, okay? So if I qualify them, I figure out when this timeline is, I can put the majority of my effort into helping the people that are ready now and continue to follow up with the people who are ready in the future, okay? So here are some connecting questions, right, that I'll make this smaller. These are some connecting questions as we start to go through this process, right? You don't have to ask these verbatim, right? They can come on in different ways. Hello, my friend. So on the right-hand side, I think is the most important concept. You're asking who, what, where, how, when, why. We're all going back to journalism school, right? So I'm asking questions about, so the first one is one that I would alter a little bit, right? If you would, please tell me a little bit about your family, job, life, etc. I wouldn't say it exactly that way, but I know what I'm trying to get. So yesterday when we were talking about the buyers, right? Hey, so this is a 4-bedroom house, kind of a big house, Natalie. Oh, it's for me and my kids, and oh, cool. Now, like I'm getting the who in a different way, right? Or so, Michelle, you told me you want to sell your home because of your job. What do you do? Oh, I do blah blah blah. Awesome. So you're moving to Alexandria for that same job, right? Oh, I'm getting a little bit about the job, right? Right? I'm a professional welder. That's cool. I don't know anything about welding, but that's like flames, and that's cool, right? I'm getting some of the what and the who and all that in there, right? Assess their wants. What are you looking for? What do you want to do, right? So you're obviously not planning on being homeless, right? Michelle, you're moving to Alexandria. What are you looking for by moving, right? Are you upgrading, getting a bigger house, right? You downsizing? What? Like, give me the scoop, right? So I'm having this conversation. I'm building this relationship. I'm getting some of these things going, right? So where are you going to buy when you sell this home, right? So after I sell your house, where are you going? Oh, I'm moving to Tickfaw. Oh, cool, right? Have you thought about starting the process of looking to buy? Well, I want to sell it first. Totally fair. We are absolutely going to sell this house. We're going to sell it as fast as possible. So I don't want you to be in a situation where we sell it and now you got to try to figure out a rental in the meantime to find your house. Might be a good idea for us to start that now. I'm just going through some of these things, right? I'm going through this. Why are you moving? Like, why do you want to leave? It's a great house. Where are you going? Oh, I'm taking advantage of the market right now and getting the best price I can. And I want to move up to a bigger house because for the same amount of money with such a low interest rate. Cool. Well, what does that conversation tell me? This person's a really smart business person. They're a numbers guy or they're a numbers girl, right? So now my conversations may be focused around how I can show them bottom dollars, et cetera, right? I'm reading some information into the things that they tell me. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay, so connecting with these people through some of these questions, getting the who, what, where, how, when, and why is an important part of your prospecting, right? People want to do business with people they see as motivated, with people they see as capable, with people they see as likable, right? People like to do business with people that they like. So again, sphere is important, and you need to identify with people that aren't in your sphere. If you're going to a for sale by owner, you need to find a way to build that rapport with that person. You need to find a way to connect. So Steve was giving me a good example the other day at an open house he was at. The guy was an Army person. So he started asking about some of the Army decorations. Well, guess what? They started having conversation about the military, right? And I lied, he was a Marine, so he'll yell at me, right? But he was a Marine. So he had started going through the military stuff. He's had a conversation with a guy about, he went on a for sale by owner appointment, and the guy had a bunch of taxidermy fish. So he's like, oh, you like the fish? Yeah, I love the fish. I got a camp, blah, blah. So he's like, oh, I used to have a camp down on such and such. Well, you're identifying with that person. You're connecting. Okay. So let me give you a hypothetical example. Let's say that you're traveling abroad, right? And you're in Rome, Italy. And all of a sudden you hear somebody who sounds like they're from the South, right? You know what I'm talking about, right? They sound like they're from the South. You are immediately going to go find that person and be like, you're American, right? Yes. Where are you from? I'm actually from Mississippi. Where at? Gulfport. Oh my God, I'm from Hammond. You immediately start trusting that person. You immediately identify with that person. They're your now person in Italy because you have something in common. They could be a mass murderer. You have no idea, but you immediately identify with that person because you have something in common. The same thing applies here. If Michelle and I are in this appointment and all of a sudden we have something in common, that's going to help me build rapport. Oh, you've got a little girl? Me too. How old's your little girl? Oh, she's 5. Mine's 6. They're crazy. Is she doing dance stuff yet? Oh, no, she's in tumbling. Mine did tumbling, right? She fell down all the time. I don't know if it counts as tumbling or falling, right? We're now building that rapport, okay? So as you go through these connecting questions, right, it helps you figure out seller motivation. It helps you figure out how important it is for them to sell and in what timeline. So it helps you figure out the strength of that motivation and where they're going to fall into the next thing we're talking about, which is the seller lead categories. Okay. Can you guys think of any other questions, right, besides the ones that are up here, or a different way that you might ask something that are a who, what, where, how, when, why type of question? Rhonda, Jay, can you guys think of anything?
Not just yet.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to move on until somebody comes up with one.
Additional question that's
Yeah.
on here?
Yeah. Just any question that would get you a who, what, where, how, when, or why answer.
Maybe you
Be
can
asking about
put
what-
some Facebook post. Hey, anybody moving? Let me know.
Sure, okay. I want to qualify this to a specific person, Jay. So you're talking to me. What's a question you might ask me to help get into some sort of connecting question?
Okay, like say some incident happen, let's say hurricane happen in Gulf Coast or whatever, Lake Charles, put a Facebook post and hey, got hurt in hurricane, planning to move or whatever, something. I can help you to find a place to live or rent or something like that.
Okay. All right. Rhonda, you got an idea?
College
I was
starting
just
and
gonna-
the university new student coming, hey, where place to stay? Just call me or whatever.
Sure. Okay. Yep. You're still on the social post, which is fine. Okay. Rhonda, what you got?
I would have just been like, once you're asking them about their kids, what school do they go to? What school district do they want to be in? Because that's like a big thing, I think.
Sure. Right. So again, you got to be careful of fair housing. So maybe I ask that in a different way. Right. So maybe I say it as, instead of what schools are your kids in, right? Or what school district do you want to be in, right? Maybe I ask, hey, Miss Rhonda, as you're looking into your moving, right, after you sell this, when you move to your next home, is the school district important to you? Yes. Okay. Why? Well, I really want to stay in the Ponchatoula School District. I got the same information without asking a question that could be interpreted as a fair housing violation question of what school are your kids in?
Mhm.
None of your business. That's what school district they're in, right?
Right, thank you for that, because I would have probably stepped right in that one.
No, absolutely, right? So that's a good one, okay? I could say, I'm on a for sale by owner, right? So Natalie, what's important to you about selling this for sale by owner instead of using a professional real estate agent?
I feel like I might get more money.
Sure.
Awesome.
All right. So she comes back with, I think I'm going to get more money.
Mhm.
Awesome. May I have permission to talk to you about that? Now I can go into something else,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
What's important, Michelle? What's important to you when you choose a real estate agent to help you sell your home?
Someone that's gonna help me sell it.
Awesome. So just getting it done.
Mhm.
All right. So if I got to wear a chicken suit out front and dance in the street, that's cool with you?
Mhm.
Awesome. Right?
Whatever it takes.
So I gave you 2 what questions,
Mhm.
right? Natalie, when I sell your home, or when I have your house under contract in under 30 days, is that going to be a problem for you?
No, sounds wonderful.
Right? So now I'm starting to ask some other questions, but they're who, what, where, how, when, and why. I'm getting into motivation.
Mhm.
If you come back with me of, yeah, I'm not ready to move for 3 months.
Mhm.
Okay. Now it leads me into what's your motivation, when, right?
Mhm.
When you sell, where do you plan on going? I got 2 things in there, right?
Mhm.
I got a when thought and then a where,
Mhm.
right? Who else is in your decision making? That's just me.
Mhm.
Okay. Who else is on the title? Right? You were telling me that it's a succession property, right? Have you talked to a title attorney to make sure there's nobody else on here that we don't know about?
Mhm.
No. Oh, well, now I just brought you some value.
Mhm.
Make sense?
Yeah.
Cool. So who, what, where, how, when, and why questions, super important. Okay. Seller lead categories. So much like yesterday, right? An A seller is ready, willing, and able, right? So the A is the able, like it jumps out at me right away, right? So look at the timeline. This has a timeline now. So a ready, willing, and able person, lost my mouse again, the next 2 weeks, these people are ready to rock and roll.
Mhm.
We all want these people, right?
Mhm.
Absolutely. Now, you'll see an action underneath here. Daily follow-up. These people want to sell their home in the next 2 weeks. They want to list this thing. You can't go a few days without talking to them, because all of a sudden Michelle swoops in behind you, Natalie, and she talked to them on Wednesday and they went with her. We need to follow up.
Mhm.
Okay, so we're daily following up with these people. Could be text messages, could be phone calls. You could have sent them a note card as part of your follow-up plan, right? But hey, we're gonna be listing in the next couple of weeks. We don't know with who yet. Like, they cannot forget your name.
Mhm.
Okay. The B, able, ready, and willing to do business in the next 15 to 60 days, within the next couple of months. These are still super important people to follow up with. Agreed?
Mhm.
Okay. So you put them in your database, right? I put the A people in my database too, right? That's one thing that I think is missing off this slide. I put the A people in my database because even if I sell it, they still stay in my database to convert for referrals, et cetera, right? So I put these people B in my database and I call every 2 to 3 days or at least once a week, right? You've got to feel out your people, right? If they're feeling like you're overwhelming them, well, don't call them every 2 to 3 days, call them once a week. Hey, Natalie, do you mind if I follow up with you every Wednesday, see how things are going? No, that's great, no problem. Okay. How best do you want me to communicate with you? Text message, phone call? Oh, text is fine. Cool. We'll follow up. Okay. C, make us smaller again. Able, ready, and willing to do business in more than 2 months, right? Next 61 plus days. Put them in your database and call them monthly, right? Because can their motivation change? Sure. Can all of a sudden the market shift again and they've been waiting for something to happen and all of a sudden they realize, oh my God, I can't wait anymore, I gotta go. Or all of a sudden Michelle is getting transferred to Alexandria and at some time in I'm moving to Alexandria, right? Just, it just sucks for you, right? Do I have any say in this? No, you're going to Alexandria, right? So Michelle's moving to Alexandria and her job is moving her there. And it's sometime, probably around the summer, they said. So I'm like, cool, she's not ready to sell until June-ish. And I just leave her alone. Well, had I followed up and called her in March, she goes, oh my God, Anthony, I'm glad you called. I just got word from my boss yesterday. He needs me there by April 1st. We got to list this thing tomorrow. But had I not called her till June, what would she have done? Found somebody else, right? So can their timelines change? Absolutely. So you need to make sure that you understand this and that they're going to shift. Hello, sir. So if a lead gets scored as a C, how do you stay in touch with these people? What are some ways that we know about that we could stay in touch with these people?
Smart plan.
Smart plan, good answer. Right? We also could put them on a neighborhood landing page, right? We'll talk more about landing pages. So what I want to do right now is I want to pause. Everybody pull up your command. Share my screen again. So everybody pull up your command. And we're going to do the same thing we did yesterday when it comes to making some tags. Before we do that, sidebar, just because it happened today and I wanted you guys to see it. See my little notifications bell? See how it's got a little red dot? That means I have a notification. So I clicked on this and I left it here so you guys could see it. It says, you missed a call. They called on your Twilio number. So I had sent out a message via Twilio and they tried to call back. I haven't set up call forwarding on Twilio, which would have immediately sent it to my number. So it says, hey, this number called your Twilio number. Make sure you don't miss another call. Well, that was 19 hours ago. Guess what? I need to go call these people back. But Command is smart enough to go, hey, this person tried to get a hold of you and you missed it. Call this person back. Does that make sense? Okay, cool. So if you're in your command, go to your little face and your little drop down, and I want you to select settings.
Hi, Steve.
We haven't been talking about you at all. Don't worry about it. It's totally fine. So once you click on settings, we're going to command settings, contacts, and contact tags. Right? So one more time. I clicked on settings. This came up on the left. I clicked on command settings, contact, and now I want contact tags. What I want us to do is exactly what we did yesterday. We set up A buyers, B buyers, and C buyers. I want you to set up A seller, B seller, and C seller. So I'm going to click create tag. I'm going to come in here. I'm going to grab my little keyboard and I'm going to type in A seller. And again, makes sense to me that that person's going to be green. I'm going to create another tag. I'm going to make it a B seller. In my brain, that makes sense that they would be yellow. And then I'm going to do the same thing for C. C seller. Makes sense that they're red. So now I just created, if you can see on my screen, I have an A buyer and an A seller. I now have another way to help stay in touch with my people. So if I'm starting to use these tags, none of this matters if you don't use them.
Right.
If I'm starting to use these tags and I have my people tagged as A buyers and A sellers, and I just got done telling you daily you need to reach out to your A sellers, it would make sense that you would go filter your database every day for A seller, see what 3, 4, 5, 10 people, whatever that is. And that's part of your job that day, is to reach out.
Right.
Hey, Natalie, it's Anthony from Keller Williams, just checking in on you. How are we doing? I'm doing great. We're still not ready. We don't have the house. It's not painted yet, whatever. Cool. Please let me know if there's anything you need from me. Do you need another quote on the painting? Yeah. Do you have a guy? I absolutely do. Now I provided value, right? I'm building that relationship even more where Natalie's going to use me. Hey, Michelle, it's Anthony from Keller Williams. Just checking in on it. Like, I'm going to go through my A sellers every day. Make sense?
Yep.
Cool. Anybody stuck on this? Anybody need any help?
No.
Cool. Good?
No.
Cool.
How do we create that tag again?
Go to command.
Got it?
Go to your face.
Okay, my face.
Drop down.
Ah, man.
Settings.
Yes, sir.
And then come over to
Yep.
command settings, contacts, contact tags. Rhonda and Jay, you good?
Command
I'm
set.
good.
Awesome.
Contact.
Look how great we're getting. You guys are becoming command expert ninjas.
So on contacts, go to contact tags.
Yes,
Got it. Thank you, sir.
you're welcome. And then make A, B, and C sellers. All right. I'm gonna give you guys just a minute to finish that up and then we'll jump back in.
I'm gonna get coffee.
Do you
Would
think?
anyone like coffee?
No, thank you.
Okay,
So
thank
it would be we on buyers or sellers?
Sellers,
So what contacts we did yesterday?
buyers.
Okay,
We did an
thank you.
A buyer, B buyer, and C
Thank you,
buyer.
sir.
Good, thank you.
Okay.
So today I want you to do
Seller.
sellers.
Got it.
All right. So we'll stop my share on that one. I'm gonna go back to this one.
So the seller I had an appointment with, and she's expecting a home to be ready by the by the beginning of March. She would be a seller.
So we define it as 0 to 14 days. In the next 2
Oh,
weeks
no.
is an A buyer.
Right.
B buyer is 15 to 60, and a C buyer is 61 and up. So she's right on the cusp between an A and a B buyer,
Okay.
right? If it's me, right, and she says she's going to be ready the very beginning of March, and let's say you do the math and it's 18 days, am I putting you as a B buyer?
No.
Absolutely not, right? You are an A buyer. You are a B plus,
Right.
A minus. You got moved up. So I'm going to make sure I reach out to her on a daily basis to see how I can be of service. How can I bring you value? Is there anything we can get paperwork done now that we can get out of the way. It's one less thing hanging over your head,
Right,
right? Let me be proactive.
right.
Let's get everything scheduled and done. So that way the only thing we need is take the photos and get you ready to launch. Right? So cool. If that stresses them out, pause. Right? If me calling you every day is stressing you out, Steve, cool. Here's why I do that. Blah, 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 blah. But if you need me to back off a little bit, I'll call you, what, every 2 days, every 3 days? Like what would be best for you? What are you most comfortable with?
Yeah.
I don't want to add to your stress level. Right?
But it's pretty high. She's trying to finish that house, her and her husband.
Sure, right? So now bring her value,
Right.
right? Have you found any projects that are outside your guys' scope and they're really stressing me out? Yeah, we're having a lot. My husband keeps trying to do the drywall and it looks like a Tyrannosaurus ate our wall. Tell him to stop. Let me send the handyman to you, right? So how can I bring value?
Okay.
Cool?
Yep.
All right. So we are going to take 5 minutes to have the conversations, right? And you three can be in a group together, right? One person can go for a couple minutes and one person's interacting and the third person's like the evaluator, right? So I want you to go through and like I was doing earlier, start having a conversation to see where I can get in my questions to pre-qualify you as an A buyer, a B buyer, a C buyer. So recap for Steve, because he came in, we're asking who, what, where, how, when, and why questions, right? So I'm asking any question that has that basis to it, which is pretty much every question you can ask, right? To figure out, are they ready now? Are they ready soon? Or are they a little bit down the line, right? So some examples I gave earlier, when we sell your house in the next 30 days, what's important to you on your next house? Well, I'm asking them a buyer question with the basis of a seller,
Right.
right? When you move, are school districts important to you? Yes, absolutely. Okay, why? Well, I want my kids to be in the Ponchatoula School District, or I want to move to La Rondra because of what. Awesome, cool. So I'm getting through this. So one of the questions I like is, when I sell your home, when I have it under contract in the next 30 days, is that a problem for you? Well, A, you're setting a pretty high precedent, right? I'm gonna get this thing under contract in 30 days. You've had it on the market for 3 weeks and haven't had anybody come by, right? Now, no, that's not a problem. That'd be great. I'm ready to move tomorrow. I now just identified that seller as an A seller, right? So one of the things that we would be doing when we get your house ready is we would get professional photos taken. How long do you think it would be until you're comfortable, sir, to have my professional photographer come in? I'd need at least 3 weeks to get this place clean and organized. Like that would stress me out. My kid's bathroom is disgusting. I have to clean it.
Right.
Well, if they're 3 weeks, are they an A buyer, a B buyer, or a C buyer? Before I can even take photos, it's 3 weeks.
That's the first. Yeah.
That's a B buyer,
Yeah.
right? That's over 2 weeks from being able to list it. Now I got to get photos. Now I got to get to MLS. So I just qualified where you are in your motivation, right? Miss Natalie, you said you're moving, right? Tired of picking on Michelle. You're moving, right? And you said you're moving because of your job.
Yes,
When do you have to be there?
2 months.
You have to be there in 2 months.
Uh-huh,
Do you need to sell this home before you can purchase your next home where you're moving?
I do.
Okay.
Mhm.
So we've got to get this thing done, sold, signed, check in your hand in 2 months.
Yes.
We need to start yesterday,
Mhm.
right? So I created some urgency. Is she an A buyer or an A seller, a B seller, or a C seller?
Hey,
A.
Mhm.
She might not know that.
right.
I've got 2 months and she's just thinking about packing and getting
Right.
there and what. No, we got to get you under contract, through appraisals, through approvals, through inspections,
We have a lot to do.
and a check. We have a lot to do. So would you like to do that on your own, or would you like that to be my stress?
I'd like that to be your stress.
I would like it to be my stress as well, because I want to make this as easy as it can be for you,
Uh-huh,
Good.
great.
right? So I've identified her motivation. Does this make sense to everybody online too?
Yep.
Sweet. All right. So I'm putting you guys in a breakout room. We're gonna call it more than 5 minutes because I think it's gonna take that. So let's just call it 5 after. So it gives everybody about 9 minutes to do this. So each person has about 5 minutes or so to do their thing. Cool?
Yes.
There you go. You three. You guys have about 3 minutes.
Tell me you're
So
proud of me.
I am proud of you.
I wrote cards this morning because I slept in and I felt like I was being lazy. So
Love
I wrote cards.
Love it.
Because I had to,
Wrote note cards?
because I had to wait for everybody to open up.
Love it. All right. So he's going to be observing first.
Please.
Michelle and Natalie, one of you go first on kind of this conversation. So Steve can observe and then rotate.
Okay.
Sweet.
Do you want me to be the seller?
Sure.
Okay,
Ring, ring, ring.
hello,
Hey Natalie, how are you?
fine. How are you? Who's this?
This is Michelle, down in Keller Lane.
Hi, Michelle.
Okay, quick question. Sorry. Should we go, we're going right into, they're already coming to us to fill their home? So we
Yeah, that's fine.
we just need-
Yeah,
Okay.
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I just want you to practice using the questions.
Okay. So, Natalie, understand you want to sell your home.
Yes.
Who's, influencing this decision with you? Is it,
Actually, it's just me.
okay. Right, and then, I don't want to be too generic, but, so Natalie, what do you currently do?
I work as a, paramedic.
Nice, okay. And, when are you looking to move?
I'm hoping to be, I really need to relocate no later than the end of June.
Okay.
My job starts, my new job starts July 1st.
Okay, so you're moving for work,
Mhm.
and what area are you looking to move to?
I am moving to Georgia.
Georgia, okay. Have you looked at any neighborhoods in that area?
No, I really haven't, not yet.
Okay. So you want to be moved within the next 5 months?
Yes.
Got the Y, so we got the win, and got the. Okay,
So you don't have to hit everything, right?
okay,
It's not a checklist. It's just how can I work on getting some of these topic questions into my conversation? All right, so when you move to Alexandria, you go back, right? Is it just you moving?
No, it's gonna be me and my dog.
You and your dog?
Mhm.
What kind of dog do you have?
A poodle.
A poodle? Is it one of the big giant like weird poodles or is it one of the little baby
It's
poodles?
the big
Is the big weird scary poodle? Okay, cool. Do you have it with the big like poof ball on its
I
tail?
do.
Awesome. All right. So now I have a picture. Is it white or black? That's the only poodles I've ever seen.
Black one?
That's a-
Dark- Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I see the brown.
It's brownish. It's brown. Okay. I've never seen brown. Okay. I'm getting into, right? I'm talking about this, right? When I was growing up, I spent a lot of time with my cousin out in Salt Lake City. And there was a cul-de-sac. And one of her neighbors, 3 houses over, I'll never forget it, because they had 2 of the giant poodles. And I'd never seen a poodle that was bigger than this. And this big poopy thing came out. I'm like, what is that? And I'm like, oh, it's a poodle. I'm like, no, it's not. Poodles are like this. I'm identifying with her. I'm not talking about her house at this point. I'm talking about a poodle. Right? So it's just helping me get into this. All right, cool. So I have a question about poodle. What's the poodle's name?
Yeah. there you go.
Could be the poodle. I
Yeah.
love it. All right, so could be the poodle. When we have showings, what's Poopy gonna be doing?
I can take with you.
Okay, so Poopy's gonna be able to lead.
Mhm.
Okay, cool. Because I'm assuming Poopy the poodle is probably Poopy the pampered poodle. Am I right? Okay. So Poopy the pampered poodle doesn't go in the kennel.
No.
Right? No. Okay, cool. So we would either need to find a way to get Poopy out or be in a kennel. Doesn't sound like kennel's an option, so I love that we'll be able to take Poopy out when I have all these people coming to look at your house. I'm setting that thing up again, of lots of people are coming, right? So I'm getting into motivation. I can take Poodle with me, like that's totally easy. Cool, you're gonna be easy stuff. Got you. Make sense?
Yep.
Okay, switch.
Oh,
You wanna actually-
sure. Let's see. Ring, ring, ring.
Hello,
Hi, is it Steve LeBronx?
yes, it is.
Hi, Steve, this is Natalie with Keller Williams Realty.
Hello, Natalie.
How are you?
I'm awesome. How are you?
Good, good. I was calling, I see you have your house for sale by owner.
Yes.
Okay, good. Well, tell me a little bit about your plans. When are you gonna be, when are you gonna be moving?
So I have a new job and I'm looking to move in the next 6 weeks.
Okay, and where, do you mind not asking where you'll be moving?
Baton Rouge.
Okay, good. And, so your job is taken.
Yes.
Okay. And, so do you need to sell your home here before buying a home in Baton Rouge?
I was planning on selling my home here first.
Okay, good. Do you have anyone helping you, find a home? Have you looked in Baton Rouge yet?
No, I just figured I'd had time, so I really haven't looked.
Yeah, okay. Well, I would love to, I'd love to help you out with, selling, with trying to sell your home.
That sounds good.
Would you be interested?
I would.
Okay, great. So,
Good, awesome, great.
okay,
So, no, you're doing great. So here's a couple suggestions.
okay,
One, ad-libbing is hard, right?
uh-huh,
Right, so we've never been in a conversation, we don't know like what's coming next.
right,
So, as you get more and more script practice of specific things to say, now you have like chunks to be able to like, oh, I should kind of go into this conversation.
Yeah.
I should go into that conversation.
okay,
Second thing I would say is, much like Steve did yesterday, you want to ask for business,
Uh-huh.
but you got to figure out when that is, right?
Uh-huh.
You gotta kind of massage that timeline
Yeah.
out. So,
okay.
in my opinion, it was a little quick,
Oh, to
right?
ask
Of
about,
the, hey, I'd love to help you with selling your house,
Uh-huh.
right?
yeah,
He doesn't know you. You've
yeah,
been on the phone for 15 seconds.
right, okay,
Now, maybe it works, maybe it doesn't.
uh-huh,
He didn't shut you down,
mhm,
which is cool. But maybe that person would. Well, I'm selling on my own, blah, 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 right?
Uh-huh.
So maybe that conversation is, well, hey, I'd love to come take a look at the home
okay,
and maybe just get the appointment, right? Get
uh-huh,
there,
okay,
build that relationship. But I
Yeah.
love where you're going,
okay,
right? The other thing I'll say is, as an observation for both of you,
uh-huh,
and it's not neither right nor wrong. So you have a gap filler,
mhm,
right?
mhm,
Come out a
Oh,
lot when
okay.
you don't know what to say,
okay,
which is totally fair because you don't know what to say.
mhm,
So as we practice what to say, that'll go away less, and you'll start to build some of that confidence. When that confidence comes, the ums, the uhs, the delays, the lights, they go away.
okay,
Second observation, not to you, is to you. I've noticed every time that you start a script, the inflection in your voice goes up, goes higher. Now, it changes when you get into your conversation. You go back down to your normal voice. So my observation is that may be your nervous thing. When you get nervous, a lot happens to females a lot, right? When you get nervous, voice goes up.
Mhm.
So maybe something to be conscientious of in your conversations when you're calling. It may just be something you do naturally, I don't know. But when you call, instead of it going, oh, hi, this is Michelle, constantly be thinking, bring that down. Because as a male,
Uh-huh.
like we hear that,
Uh-huh.
right? And if a boy, there's a reason, right? And you can say it's a sexist statement if you want to, but it's genetically true. Mom can be yelling at the kids, and when you get stressed, voice goes up, and kids stop listening.
Mhm.
Dad walks in and just said something, his voice is lower. He doesn't have to raise his voice. The tone, they're like, how come you listen to dad? It's genetically built in. So our voice goes lower, women's voices go higher.
Uh-huh.
So I'm telling you from an alpha male perspective, if you call me and your voice is super high, my confidence level goes down because you're already stressed, you're nervous, I'm hearing that.
Mhm.
Does that make sense? So it might be something to just be cognizant of and pay attention to. Make sense? Tag, you're up, you have 1 minute.
All right. Michelle. So ring, ring.
Hello.
Hi, this is Steve with Keller Williams. How are you today?
I'm well.
I'm awesome. Thank you. I'm glad you're doing well. So I see that you have your home for sale?
Yep.
That's good. That's good. How long have you had it for sale?
It's been about 2 weeks.
Oh, cool, cool. So if you don't mind me asking, what is your motivation for selling?
I'm relocating for work.
Oh, wow. That's good. So when are you starting your new job?
Sometime in April.
April, so that's 2 months away, you thinking?
Mhm.
Wow.
I need
That's
to have
good.
everything moved and be there by April.
Right, right. That's good. So you're looking to move and you're looking to sell your home as quick as possible. Yes, that's understandable for your job. You have to get there. So I was wondering, would you mind me coming to look at your home, see if may have any possible buyers for your home?
No, not at all.
That's good. So does tomorrow work for you?
Yep, we're normally home in the afternoon.
That's good. So is your husband going to be with you?
Yes,
Good, good. So does 4 o'clock work for you?
yep, that works for me.
That's good. I'll see you tomorrow at 4. Thank you, Michelle. Oh, I didn't even ask your name. So by the way, I'm sorry, could I get your name?
It's Michelle.
Michelle. Awesome. And your husband's name?
Mitch.
Mitch? That's very good, very good. Okay, Michelle, very nice speaking with you, and I'll see you tomorrow at 4.
He
Thank
speaks.
you, Michelle.
Man, you guys are so nice in scripts. Yeah, come on by, bring ice cream, right?
We'll be there.
No, it's good, right? So they're coming back in here about 20 seconds. So if it's me,
Mhm.
I'm gonna hear one of your questions weird.
Which one?
What's your motivation for selling?
Oh, yeah, you know, as soon as the motivation came out, I said, man, I shouldn't have said that. As
Right?
soon as it came out, I kid you
It's
not.
weird, right? It's
Yeah.
a weird way to ask
Yeah.
somebody, right? I get the same thing of, why are you moving? Right? Oh, I got a new job. Oh, cool. What do you do?
Should have rephrased that.
Right?
Susie.
So it's having the right language
Uh-huh.
as it pertains to what we're talking about.
So what would you recommend?
I thought it sounded just like a real estate agent.
It sounds like a real estate agent. It sounds like a used car salesman.
Yep.
Yeah,
What kind of package are you looking for in your new vehicle?
Right.
uh-huh,
As opposed to you need heated seats? I do need heated seats. My boot has been cold. Yeah, I need that, right? So we're just talking, Ron and Jay coming back in. We're just talking about the language that we use, right? So I was actually coaching Warren up on this yesterday. He was talking about a for sale owner appointment he has today.
Mhm.
And he was talking about something with
The last thing I heard was.
he was talking about something with the motivation or the whatever, and he was using language, and Tom was like, look, I gotta stop you, right? Because we were role playing. I'm like, let me stop. I said, stop trying to sound so smart.
uh-huh.
He said, what do you mean? I said, no one talks like that, right? No one's gonna say, well, let's talk about the motivation you have for selling your home. Like it comes out weird. You're like, no one sounds like that. I said, stop trying to sound so smart. Why do you want to move? Where are you going? What's taking you there?
Uh-huh,
It's the same questions
uh-huh,
without sounding smooth,
yeah,
right?
uh-huh,
Don't mistake what I'm trying to get out of the conversation with trying to sound smooth,
mhm,
right? So this will make more sense for Steve and I and Jay, right? But I'm talking to Natalie and I'm trying to get a date with Natalie. Well, I can ask a question in a way that's fun, and I'm building a relationship of, hey, you know, what brings you out to here, blah, 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 versus how you doing, right?
yeah,
It's a similar question. One sounds oogie, one sounds like we're just having a fun, friendly conversation, right?
uh-huh,
You don't have to be so smooth,
Uh-huh.
right? Super smooth and super polished sounds super smooth and super polished.
yeah,
super confident in the conversations that you're going to have. This is why we internalize our stuff. So I can now have that conversation in a way that is the way Steve would actually talk,
Mhm.
which is the way Michelle would actually speak,
Mhm.
which is the way Natalie actually thinks. Well, now I don't sound like I'm on a script. I don't sound like a robot. I don't sound like I'm just reading
Uh-huh.
question after question after
Right.
question. I'm just having a
Yeah.
conversation,
Uh-huh,
and I know the things that I want to get out of the conversation.
uh-huh.
Oh, cool, you're moving. Awesome. Why are you selling your house?
Mhm.
Well, I gotta move, I gotta be in, Idaho by
Mhm.
April.
Mhm.
Oh my goodness. Like Idaho in April, like there's still snow, right? Have you
Uh-huh.
ever been in snow? No, I've never lived anywhere but Louisiana. Have you got a nice jacket yet? Right? So I'm talking about this stuff. It doesn't matter for selling her house if she has a nice jacket, but it's part of that, like it naturally came up.
Right, yeah.
I used to go skiing out there. I actually went to Idaho before the Olympics. Like it was cold.
Uh-huh.
No, I haven't gotten a jacket yet. Okay. So your first to-do list item is get a nice heavy jacket when you get there because you're gonna freeze to death. Right? Cool. I'm in that conversation. Right? Okay. Moving on. Jay, Rhonda, anything that came out of that you want to talk about before we slide into this next one?
I
We
brought
okay?
up,
Rhonda, go.
like if your question, and I like it, about being, if we sell your house within 30 days, are you okay with that? So taking it one step further, if they say, well, that might be an issue, I was trying to come up with something like, should we have like in our back pocket, short-term leases, places that might do something like that?
Absolutely, right? So having that next thought of, well, we've got two options then, Miss Rhonda. One, we could definitely put in our contract that we can't close before April 1st. So we absolutely could write that in. So that way you're not stressed about your timeline. Or I work with leases all day, every day. We do have some short-term lease options available that we could do if we needed that. And I understand that you're moving to South Carolina, right? Let me get in touch with an agent over there that could help you with your purchase on that side. And let's see if there's something that might be available if we need that in the short term. How does that sound?
Sounds
Now-
good.
I've got both options for you, right? Love it. All right, Jay, what were you going to say, sir?
Okay, I think we were single.
Say it again.
I say we were okay.
Okay, perfect. Love it. All right, so converting leads to contacts, right? Finding the lead's motivation is the first step in turning them into a warm lead and then eventually into a closed client, right? Now, that verbiage to me sounds very cold. What I just said. Does that sound cold to anybody else?
Yeah,
Right?
uh-huh.
Finding their motivation helps them turn you into a warm lead and then turns you into a closed client. That's very cold sounding. It's very business sounding, and it's true, right? But think about it in a different way. If I can find out your motivation, I can better provide value to you and get you to your ultimate goal, which is to sell your home, correct?
Right.
It's the same thing. I just said it in a different way. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Can you say it one more time?
So yeah, so what I was saying was the same concept of figuring out what the motivation of this lead is, turning them into a warm lead to then turn them into a closed client is the same concept of if I figure out what your motivation is, it's going to help me bring more value to you, and more value to you helps me get you to your ultimate goal, which is to sell your home. So if I think about it that way, it doesn't stress out my value system as much, right? The first way I said it, that sounds really cold and business-like, Anthony. Like I don't like that. Okay, well, think about it the other way. Okay, so when you're talking to people, always come from curiosity, right? So I want you guys to write that down. That's a phrase that I think is really important. come from curiosity. So we were talking the other day, if you're talking a lot, you're doing it wrong. Ask a lot of questions. Care about their answers. I did a Facebook video the other day about, and I don't know if it's been posted yet or if it just got posted on my YouTube channel, but it was our job is to find change and find problems in our conversations that we can help with. So having that conversation, oh, you're moving, that's a change. I have to be there by April 1st, that's a problem. Now I can help with those things. I can provide a solution, right? Ooh, you just had a new baby. That's a change. You live in a 1-bedroom apartment. That's a problem. Now I can start working through of maybe your credit isn't where it needs to be. There's another problem. Let me help get you in touch with somebody who can help with your credit to get you out of this 1-bedroom apartment because you now have a baby, right? I'm providing value. I'm providing a service, right? Okay. So reciprocal relationships, right? 2 ways is how you turn a lead into a contact, right? And then it's all about connecting. It's all about asking for an appointment. It's all about asking for a referral, right? It's all about asking for a reciprocate the connection you've made, right? When you have a seller who's motivated and willing to sell, you've got to ask for the business. It's that simple. If you're in these conversations and they're saying, and this is part of what we were talking about earlier, right? I want to sell in the next 2 weeks. Like, I need to get this thing listed. I got to go. Like, here's my problem. I got a short timeline. I have to ask for the appointment. Great. When are you going to be ready to sell? Right? It can then become that blunt. Hey, I've got to be out of here. And like, my job starts April 1. Awesome. So when are you looking to sell? Like, right now. I need to sell it now. How long have you had it marketed by yourself? About 3 weeks. How's that been going? Nobody but you has called. That's not so good. Now I got to figure out, how can I bring value? So second point is, can I come by and talk to you? I'd love to come by and show you how I can bring some value to get your home sold. Yes, come now. Awesome. I can be there in about 30 minutes. Awesome. I'm waiting for you. Like, don't even turn the car off. Dive out, get in the driveway. Let's go. Right? If they need it now, you got to figure out, when are they ready? Right now. Can I get the appointment? Right? So like Steve asked earlier, right? Does 4 o'clock today work for you? Sure. Right? So I'll give you an example. And you can look at page 7 on your participant guide, right? For some other who, what, where, how, when, and why questions. But I'll give you an example from the buyer standpoint, right? So an investor that I know has been dragging his feet for about 5 years on getting a property. So he's one of my nephew's best friends. And he called me the other day and said, hey, I got to buy something. So we set up an appointment. I said, can you do a Zoom tomorrow? He's like, yes. So I did the Zoom. And the look on his face was just grief stricken, right? So I asked him, like, Joe, what's going on? He's like, I just finished my taxes. I got to figure something out. I need some write-offs. Well, that's, for me, I mean, that's a pretty good problem to have. Like, you made too much money that you got to write a check back to Uncle Sam and it made you physically ill. Okay, let me help with that. There's the problem, right? So we get him going. He's like, at the end of it, at the end of the conversation, he said, Anthony, it's taken me 5 years to return your call on this. If it takes me another month or so, don't rush me. Okay. So now immediately I'm thinking, okay, he's kind of ready, kind of not ready.
Right.
The next morning I get a text message. Hey, I've already made my LLC. I've talked to my bank and I'm getting my pre-approval today. Well, now he just moved back into a buyer status for me.
Mhm.
Set him up on his email campaign. He starts seeing things. Every day he's logging into the MLS. Every day he's sending me things. What about this one? I look at it. It's flooded 3 times. You don't want that one. I sent him one. Here's one I really like and why. He said, great. I said, do you want to see it? Yes. I said, cool. What times are good for you? Right? Brand new relationship, figuring out. He's like, I can do tomorrow. This was yesterday. He said, I can do tomorrow after lunch or anytime Friday. So he did what I would do, right? Here's a couple choices. So I sent him a message back. 3 p.m. Thursday or 3 p.m. Wednesday? Yes. Good. Set the appointment. Right? If they're ready, find a way to get the appointment.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Now, Joe makes a lot of money in the business that he's in. If I provide a good service to Joe, he's now going to be talking about what he's doing with his buddies at work. Is it out of the question for me to say, hey, Joe, will you do me a favor? All the other yokels that you're working with at work that are in the same situation, why don't you send them my way? Oh, yeah, man, I can do that. Totally cool. If they're ready, get the appointment, find out when, and then ask for continuing business. Make sense?
Mhm.
Cool. All right, so did I go backwards? I did. There we go. Pre-qualifying sellers. So now that we've talked about how we start converting them through this process, let's move on to pre-qualifying. So once you know the seller's willing to sell and has agreed to have an appointment with you, you need to pre-qualify them to see if they're able and ready to do business. They're willing to sit down with you, but you need to start getting some sort of idea of how ready, how willing, how able, right? Are you A, B, or C? So there's some pre-qualifying, and much like I did yesterday, I'm gonna add to this, okay? So pre-qualifying sellers. You must be willing to do this in one way, shape, or form. Why? I don't want to waste all your time, right? I don't want you going in and spending 3 hours on a listing presentation because you're not confident it takes you so long and that person's not ready to sell for 6 months, right? That's not the time to have a full listing presentation, right? That's time to follow up and get them where they're ready to go. Maybe have a diluted down, a mini version of something, right? So benefits of the stuff on here, right? Pre-qualifying helps me understand their motivation, right? We've been doing this a little bit already, right? We're asking these questions. You're helping position yourself as an expert. You're bringing some value. You have some knowledge to give them. You're asking questions about, why do you want to move to this certain area? Cool. What's important to you about that? Awesome. Hey, did you know there's a new subdivision coming up that's all 4 bedrooms, 3 baths, has a park, blah, blah. Oh, I didn't know that. I'm positioning myself as an expert. Pre-qualifying helps you win the listing. It allows you to price the home to sell for the most amount of money in the shortest time frame. Remembering from our conversation yesterday or the day before, right? What's the basic value to a seller? I want you to sell my house for the most amount of money in the shortest amount of time with the least amount of hassle, right? And then properly set seller expectations, allowing you to create a great customer experience. All right. So I use the pre-qualifying paperwork from the original Ignite, and we're going to look at this tool in the toolkit here. I used this on my first one ever, right? And it was super duper helpful for me, right? This was my only tool at the time. I knew nothing. My first house I ever sold. And and this was a girl that I knew, right? This was a slam dunk deal, right? She was one of my former students. I let her know I was in real estate. She said, great, I need to sell my house. I said, awesome. Can I come to a presentation? She's like, yeah, but you're going to sell it. I'm like, cool. I still need to do a presentation with you. She's like, okay. So I'm going to send you some pre-listing questions. If you can fill this out for me before I get there, that would be super helpful for us to understand what's going on. She's like, absolutely, no problem. Well, I got there. She hadn't answered all the questions. Cool. Well, now part of my presentation was going through those pre-listing questions to get an idea, right? These help me figure out what your motivation is, how willing you are to do things, etc. Right? Her parents were also there, right? So it's my first presentation. I've got a person who wants to list, and I've got mom and dad, and I'm nervous, but I had something to go from, right? So it gave me like, okay, there's a little bit of a foundation here. It also branded to Keller Williams. It also is a professional, like I already had sent this. I wasn't shooting from the hip. So did it make me look like I knew what I was doing? Yeah. Did it make me feel like I knew what I was doing? At least a little bit, right? A little baby bit, right? A little help, okay? So I want to stop my share for a second. And I want to open up the toolkit again. And guys online, I'm pulling this up. Share screen.
Pre-listing presentation.
So I pulled the pre-listing questionnaire first, right? Because this one looks very similar to the one for the buyers, right?
Okay.
So here's some cool things, right? That again, just questions. You could send this to the person to say, hey, can you fill this out for me, right? Instead of me just going through it on the phone. I also could take this and use this as some of my questions to take notes during my presentation. But this is somebody I know who wants to list at this point, right?
Right.
They either called me, come list my house, right? Or I've got an appointment and I'm feeling like this is going to be an A kind of seller, right? So I love the first question. How'd you hear about me? Why is that important?
To know what, where they came from in your sphere.
Sure. Did you come from my sphere, right? What else? How else would they find you? How would someone find you?
Facebook.
Facebook.
Media.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where else?
On the web, hopefully.
Yeah, maybe they saw you on the web presence,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Maybe they saw your sign,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Well, you want to know that.
Mhm.
I want to know where my marketing's coming
Right.
from,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
If they saw me on Google, well, maybe I go spend $25 and do a Google ad to boost up
Yeah.
my.
Uh-huh.
Somebody found me. Yay! How'd they find me?
Uh-huh.
Right? So now I want to know that, right? So how'd you hear about me? Right? And I used this the other day. Someone called me about property management,
Uh-huh.
had an appointment. I said, hey, weird question just because I want to know. How'd you find me? Well, I found you online. Sweet.
Uh-huh.
Right? I now know my website, my marketing's working. That's awesome. Right? So where are you moving? What's motivating you to move there? Again, I probably tweak that. Hey, what's causing you to move to Idaho? Right? How soon do you have to be there? I'm getting into motivation. If we sell your home, right, in the next 30 days, is that going to pose a problem? Right?
Mhm.
Promise you, I'm not making this up. I'm not that smart. Right? What would happen if your home did not sell? Ooh. Let's talk about that one for a minute. Right? If I ask you, Natalie, so let me ask you a question. What happens if you don't sell your home? Ooh, that's a rough question to answer, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
You got to move. You said you got to be at your new job in April.
Right. Uh-huh.
So what happens if you don't move? Well, I still got to move. I got to be at my job. So what happens if your house doesn't sell? Man, I guess I'll have 2 mortgages.
Or at least that.
That doesn't sound good. Or you're going to have to do a lease. And now you're
Uh-huh.
still paying for your mortgage and you're paying, like Alexandria, right?
Mhm.
Price is $1,000 for rent.
Mhm.
So now you're going to pay $1,000 for your rent and you're paying your mortgage.
Uh-huh.
It doesn't sound like fun, right? So this is something to write down if you've never written it down before. Pain versus pleasure, right? Pain versus pleasure. People are going to run away from pain faster than they're going to run towards pleasure. So if I can find a pain point, I am going to continue to point that out to them, right? Not from the standpoint of manipulation, right? I'm not trying to manipulate their thinking. I'm trying to get them to focus on reality, Natalie, if you don't sell this house, like you're gonna have a financial issue. How long have you had it on the market so far? 3 weeks?
Mhm.
No offers? Like in my world, that stresses me out.
Mhm.
And now I can talk about how long, like first 2 weeks, all that good stuff. But I'm focusing on that pain point. I'm getting them to think about that,
Uh-huh.
right? I'm starting to get a little stressed. Ooh, I don't like that.
Mhm.
Now, Anthony, Natalie, Michelle, Rhonda, Jay, Steve, you're the problem solver. I can help solve this problem for you. 400 websites, 500 websites. Every local broker, every local agent knows you're for sale. I've got a marketing campaign. I'm gonna do social media posts. I'm gonna pay for ads. You know, professional photos. I solved their problem. I took away their pain. Guess what? I now like you. Yes, make that happen, right? Okay. So this is something that you can send, right? You could ask these questions. You'll notice they're who, what, why, how, when, where questions, right? If you have any questions before we meet, right? This one's kind of important, right? Number 11, will all the decision makers be there? Well, no, my husband has to work, okay? Is it possible for either us to FaceTime him in, or can we schedule a time in the evening? When does he get off work? He gets home by 7:30. Can we do a late night meeting? I would love to be able to talk to everybody at one time. It makes everything a whole lot easier. You're willing to come meet me at 8:30? Yeah. To list your house? Yeah, absolutely. I'm all over it. 8:30? I'm gonna be there bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. Do you drink coffee that late? I'll bring you a Starbucks. What do you want? Right? So work around it, right? Okay. So you can send this or you can just ask it. And go away. Why are you so small?
So what was that? You said people will run from pain faster.
People
than
will
they-
run from pain faster than they are going to run towards pleasure.
Okay.
View. One page. Okay. So I'm gonna make sure my people online can see this. I'm sharing a new screen with you. That looks like it. Okay. So this is from the original Ignite. This is in your toolkit. This is 100% what I used for my first listing, and I've used in some way, shape, or form for other listings since then. Okay? So, Brandon, Keller Williams, Guide to Selling Your Home. You can come in here and change it, right? And it is prepared for Natalie Scott. Oh. And then I can not delete it all the way so I don't turn it red, but I can make it for Natalie Scott. If I want to go back and fix it, I want to be it for you from me. Right? Compliments of me. There you go. Right? So now this is something, it's already branded to you, right? So this is what I sent, right? I sent this to my person.
Great.
And then I took this with me and I had a copy and they had a copy and I went through it with them. This was part of my original listing presentation, okay? So the first thing they're reading is it's all about you. We're listing your house. This is all about you and your experience, right? So I can probably make this a little bit bigger. Maybe.
Where is that in,
It's in your toolkit,
under what? Pre-listing presentation?
pre-listed presentation, Word document. Yep. Let's make it a little bit bigger so you guys can read it, right? So my real estate business is built around one guiding principle. It's built on you. Right? It's all about you, right? So I'm going to help you in all these ways, right? And you can go alter this however you want, right? So getting ready to list, right? Here's what we're going to go through. We're going to talk about price, location, condition, competition, timing. We're going to talk about why being priced well is a good idea, right? Steve, we did this in your CMA, right? We saw this image, right?
Nope.
Getting ready to sell, we're talking about condition, right? When a seller stays in their home, one of two things happen. The home becomes more valuable, more buyers become more interested. There's a reason we want to have some stuff in here, right? It being completely empty makes it really hard to envision a space. Leaving your bed in here is better, right? So as I was going through this, I'll give you a specific example from her house. She had some roommates, right? Just out of college, young girl. She bought a house, so she had roommates living with her, and her roommates' rooms were awful, right? They were awful. I said, "What are we doing with them?" She's like, "They have until the end of the month, and then they're getting out." I'm like, "That's such a good answer." Okay, good, right? So when we got done, she had empty rooms. I said, "Do you have extra stuff?" Her parents lived next door. I said, "Do you guys have extra stuff we can bring over?" They're like, "Yeah, we have all kinds of stuff." I'm like, "Good, we're gonna put some stuff in these rooms." So we made one room look kind of like a nursery, right? They didn't have a baby bed, they didn't have anything like that, but I took a rocking chair and a side table and a lamp, put it in the room, stuck a book on it with a pair of glasses on top of the book. Guess what people started to envision when they walked in that room? Oh, maybe this is my office, or maybe this is a sitting room, or maybe this is a baby's room, or what. It wasn't just an empty room to judge, well, this is a 10 by 12 room. I don't know what I'd do with it. Would my stuff fit? I don't know. Give them a visual, right? So this was part of them understanding that in the pre-listing packet. Don't pack everything up yet. Like, we need some stuff. It needs to still look like a home, right? So stand up from the crowd, right? We talked about going out by the curb and looking at it, right? We walked around their house. I said, all right, this specific example for her house again, her name's Sydney. I said, Sydney, and her dad was walking with us, right? I said, Sydney, this little trash thing that you got on the side of your house with the wood boards or whatever, I like you a lot. It looks terrible. And her dad said, I'll tear it down today. Awesome. Like, these are the perfect sellers ever, right? I said, bare minimum, like, let's fix the couple boards that are bad, but why can't we walk another 10 feet and hide the garbage cans around on the backside of the carport? He's like, it's just easier. I'm like, agreed, but it looks bad. He's like, it does look bad. Let's tear it down. Cool. So we're going through this. They had all of this in their head before I got to them, right? So this is just my presentation. And now here's where some of the questions come in. I love the first one. What's the most important thing you are looking for in your listing agent? If they fill this out and they send it back to you before you even go on the listing appointment, what do you think you better be when you get there? Whatever number one is.
Whatever they're looking for.
Right? So now I have an unfair advantage, okay, in two ways. You're telling me what you want. Unless you tell me I got to be a 6'3" blonde lady, I'm going to be that, right? I got you, right? And if you need someone who is supremely tech savvy, and I'm not super tech savvy, I'm going to call and get a co-list agent with me. And I'm going to say, hey, Steve, you're not tech savvy. Steve, I know you're super awesome on marketing and whatever. I have a listing appointment. They really need a really super high tech presence. That's not me. Would you like to co-list this with me? Yeah, I like free money for you calling me to help co-list. Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Can you go with me on this appointment so we can do this together? Yeah. Awesome. Right? What's the other unfair advantage? Think about, you may not be the only agent that they talk to. So what other unfair advantage do you get by sending something like this out to your people? Look at the next question. What prior real estate transaction experience do you have? I now know if they sold more than one house before. If I've done this a lot, I've sold a lot of houses. Cool. How many? 3. Oh, yeah, that's a lot. Okay, good. Right? I'm going to sell 3 in April. All right. So you know that you're an expert, but they think that they know everything that's going on. Okay. How would you like to be communicated with? Email, phone, text, etc. How frequently do you want an update? I'm starting to dig into a bunch of questions, right? Do you think another agent has asked them these questions? Probably not. So if they've met with another agent before you and they didn't bother to send me something beforehand, you look better.
Right.
If they didn't ask these questions, you look more professional.
Mhm.
You care more about what's going on. You're not just here because you want the money. What if I show up after you and you've done all this and you've started to ask these questions? How often do you want to update on showing? And I never bother to ask you, well, how often do you want to update on showings? What are they thinking in their head? That last guy asked me all kinds of stuff that's important to me. This new yokel, this Anthony guy, he didn't bother to ask me anything about showings or how I want to be communicated with. Who's a better agent? Steve, who was there before me,
Mhm.
right? You're setting an unfair example, right? You're setting the table for yourself to compare yourself to every other agent that they don't even know to ask these questions because you wrote the questions. You're going to pass the test because you wrote the test.
Mhm.
Anthony, who didn't write the test, has no idea.
Right.
I don't even know I'm supposed to ask these things, right? So I love this, right? What are you most concerned about? So even if they didn't send this to me, right, before I get there,
Mhm.
I'm going to say, hey, were you able to complete this thing for the pre-listing questions? Yes. May I have that? I want to kind of review that with you as I go through, right? Much like I do with you guys on your agent questionnaire, right?
Mhm.
We're going through it now. We're going to talk about it. Cool. Give me the test back. I want to see what you said, right? Hey, Natalie, I noticed you didn't answer number 6.
Mhm.
What are you most concerned about? Like, this is a big deal, right? Selling your house can be scary. Like, what are you most concerned about? I'm really interested.
Mhm.
And then stop whatever you're doing and just focus. Like, I really want to know.
Mhm.
Cool.
Yeah.
Now I'm getting to their motivation. I'm getting to their stuff, right? Keep going through. Here's a part, right? It's optional. You can always delete it out of here if you want to, right? So it can talk about you, right? Your expertise, technology, communication, personal stuff. You could put your bio here if you wanted to, right? You could put any reviews that you've got. If you don't feel comfortable because you don't have anything yet,
Right.
get rid of it.
Yeah.
Put a page in here about Keller Williams if you want
That's what I
to,
was thinking about.
right? Put the Y4C2Ts in here, right? And then that's it. So even if they don't do it before you get there, this looks pretty good if I slap this down on a table and say, hey, I'd love to go through some of this with you as part of this conversation.
Mhm.
Does that make sense to everybody?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Rhonda, Jay, any ahas come out of that for you?
I love it. I'm gonna use that.
Yeah, that is
Good.
great.
I'm thinking the same thing, Rhonda.
Good, good.
I might ask a copy of the things that you have.
That is on KW Connect, Jay. It is there for you whenever you want it.
All right.
All right, share my screen again. We'll get back into our presentation. So, pre-listing questionnaire, it's on the toolkit. We just went through that, right? I'm not gonna have you go through and role play this again because I think we did enough on that one from before, right? So pre-qualifying your sellers. Well, you know what? I lied. I'm gonna do that. So I want you to pull up the pre-listing questionnaire, right? So pull up that pre-listing questionnaire or the presentation, right? So either one that I just did. So the single page one or that presentation that I just showed you, both are in the toolkit. Pull that up. I'm going to give everybody 10 minutes. So let's say 5 minutes till we'll come back. So 5 minutes to 11 we'll come back. And I want you to go through and practice asking some of these questions. Get comfortable with it, right? This is a script, guys. It's just in a different format, right? So practice doing these questions. Online people, I'm going to put you into your breakout room again. So you got 10 minutes. Everybody good?
Yep.
There you go. All right. So you guys get together
Okay.
and just go through the questions part. right?
Okay,
Same concepts, but now you're not having to do the ad lib.
uh-huh,
You have a guide to go from.
right,
But don't just go question 1, question 2, question 3,
Yeah.
question 4. Like,
okay,
build a relationship around
Okay.
those questions. Make
Okay.
sense?
yeah,
All right, who's first? Go.
I am pulling up the toolkit out of it.
Good. Natalie's first. She's got it up. Go.
okay, so, Steve,
Yes,
what is the most important thing you're looking for in your listing agent?
communication. I want to be able to contact my real estate agent.
Uh-huh, okay, good. Well, I think, I mean, I'm available, I'm just a phone call away, so. What prior real estate transaction experiences have you had?
I sold 2 doubles and I sold 1 house in my life.
Uh-huh, yeah. And how was your experience with the agent or agents that you dealt with?
One was good, 2 of them were not good.
Uh-huh, yeah. And what was the problem with the one that wasn't so good?
Lack of communication.
Okay, okay. So let me ask you this, how would you like to be communicated with? Is email, phone, text, or?
I prefer
another-
texting.
Okay, good. And how frequently would you like an update on marketing? We can do it weekly, twice a month after each showing, or if something else is more appealing?
Once a week's fine.
Okay.
Good. Stop there. Great. So quick feedback. I love it.
Mhm.
Right? So what was the most important thing, Steve, as you being that person? What did you say your most important thing was?
Communication.
Communication, right? And you
Mhm.
got into that, right?
Mhm.
How do you like to be communicated with,
Mhm.
right? So it gave you some guiding questions.
Right.
Now I want you, and you did it, right?
Uh-huh.
He said, well, one, what you asked, how did your previous stuff go,
Mhm.
right? If he sold 2 doubles,
Mhm.
right, he's owned 2 duplexes before, I've sold a house, like he's got some experience.
Yeah.
Then you were like, great, how did those go? One was
Uh-huh.
good, 2 were bad.
Mhm.
So immediately you asked, well, what was wrong with the 2 bad ones?
Mhm.
Cool, they didn't communicate,
Mhm.
okay? I'm triggered, the second time you said it.
Right.
What was so great about the first one? And
Uh-huh.
we came back to, well, they communicated.
Yeah.
Awesome. Mr. Steve, you've said communication 3 times. I want to be very clear. What does that mean to you?
Mhm.
Right?
Mhm.
Because if he said earlier, I want to be able to get a hold of my agent, does that mean you
Yeah.
can get a hold of me at 9:30 at night?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Like we need to have that clarifying conversation,
Uh-huh. Okay.
right?
Mhm.
So I want to know what communication means to him,
Yeah.
even more so than just that next question of how do you want to be communicated with?
Okay.
Text messages.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Steve, like if you text me, are you are you thinking you're gonna get an immediate, like I sent it, stare at my phone and it's coming right back at me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I need immediate responses.
Uh-huh.
Unfortunately, I'm gonna be in other appointments. If you notice, I didn't even bring my phone in.
Uh-huh.
It's in my truck.
Uh-huh.
So if one of my other clients right now were texting me,
Uh-huh.
they wouldn't get an immediate response because my attention's on you right now,
Right.
sir. Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Now, here's what I can promise you. When we're finished, you're going to see me sitting by the curb for about 10 minutes because I'm going to go through my text messages. And if
Uh-huh.
anything needs immediate attention, you're
Yeah.
going to see me either send a text or get on the phone
Uh-huh.
to call.
Yeah.
If I go outside and you see me pull off in the next minute, that means nothing came through.
Uh-huh.
Oh, that makes sense.
Mhm.
If that's good with Steve, cool. I've set myself up for a positive
Yeah.
experience.
Uh-huh.
If he's like, no, I gotta know right now.
Right.
Unfortunately,
That's gonna be a problem.
Yeah.
I can't guarantee that it'll be instantaneous.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
Right?
Mhm.
What I can tell you is this, Steve. There are no real true real estate emergencies. The only real estate emergency is your house is on fire and I hope you called the fire department, not me.
Mhm.
And what I get, I gotta laugh, right?
Uh-huh.
Right? Corny dad joke, but it's a joke, right?
Uh-huh.
So I'm gonna get the response. So I promise you, when we have showings, when we have communication from other agents, I'm on it.
Uh-huh.
It's coming to me.
Yeah.
You may not know and see
Mhm.
everything that's happening,
Uh-huh.
but there's gonna need a little bit of trust put in me
Uh-huh.
that this is happening. Is
Uh-huh.
that fair? Yeah, that's fair. Cool. right? Rotate.
No,
Good job.
Okay.
so then you put out the potential fire,
Yeah, let's
Before it
get on,
even started.
let's get on the same page.
right?
Yep.
Can I borrow your screen?
Oh, of course.
I downloaded the toolkit, but it's not opening for some reason.
It downloads as a zip file.
Yeah, and then when I click on it, it's not opening in my, on my Word, so might we have to update.
Where's your zip? Where's your download go?
Right. Let's do it again. Still learning.
Oh, great.
Great.
All right, toolkit. Now, which one? Questions? What's the questions?
It's the pre-listing presentation.
And it's not.
Oh, where's your toolkit?
Right
You've
here,
got,
the Ignite toolkit.
Probably.
there it
I don't
is,
know if you-
pre-listing
Yeah, but I
presentation.
did that.
Right.
Maybe she's having the
I had it
same
eventually,
problem.
like, I had it before, so I'm not sure what happened to it.
Oh, there you go.
Because what-
That's
Where's
it.
the questions?
Go down, it's like page
Sure.
5 or 6.
If not, this is also on,
Because I was
this is on
thinking the
Trello.
same thing.
Trello.
There you go.
Oh, okay,
Okay.
thank you.
All right,
I just found it.
Rotate, rotate, rotate.
Yep.
Okay.
Got about 5 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes.
Ready?
You ready?
Yes, me?
You have your questions?
Yeah, I have that.
Okay. I was gonna give you mine, that's okay. You wanna go, or you want me?
You can go first.
Okay. So I'm calling on the phone, this is on the phone?
I don't care.
Okay, bling, bling.
Hello,
Hey, Michelle, how are you doing today?
I'm well, how are you?
So, we're gonna have that listing, we're gonna have that presentation, Saturday. And I was just wondering, do you mind if I get some, questions in now so I can find out different things about you that may be important to you?
Sure.
Would that be okay? Good. So my first question to you, what is the most important thing you are looking for in your listing agent?
Just that he keeps me informed, he or she keeps me informed.
Right, so communication is a huge, deal with you.
Yes.
Good, good. So what prior real estate transaction experiences have you had?
I don't have any.
None?
This is my first home I'm selling.
Right. So I'm hoping to provide a awesome experience for you since it's your first one. So how would you like me, so what are the best ways for me to communicate with you that you would feel comfortable about?
I'm open to text or email, or if it's very important, you can give me a call, whatever works best for you.
So what do you prefer? Do you prefer a phone call, a text message, email?
Texting is fine.
Texting is fine. And how often would you like me to text you? When you feel comfortable?
Weekly updates are fine.
Once a week?
Mhm.
Okay, so that works. We could definitely make that work for you. And how frequently would you like an update on the market? Let you know what's going on in the market, sales, and how the homes have been on the market.
We can do that weekly as well.
That's weekly also. And is it okay if I send you that by email?
Yep.
That's good. That works. So, and so on the houses being shown, how frequently in your neighborhood? How's the different homes are being shown? How frequently would you like an update on showings? Like your home's being shown, you're not gonna be around, I'm gonna take care of that for you. How frequently? It's like if I show you a home on a Saturday, when do you want me to let you know that I showed it and their responses?
We can do that every other week. That's okay. with
Every other week?
Mhm.
That's good, that's good. And we can work that in, that's definitely. And so on your listing for your home, what are you most concerned about? Marketing, selling process, qualifying buyers, or showing procedures, open houses? What were you most concerned about?
Just marketing, get the word out there. Just
Marketing. So in the marketing area, we're gonna list your home on 500 different websites. We're gonna canvass the homes around your home, letting other people know that your home is available, because they might, this is an awesome neighborhood, and they might know someone who wants to move in. So I plan on canvassing the neighborhood, letting other people know, and I also plan on going knock on doors and personally let them know that your home is available. Does that sound like a good plan to you?
That sounds awesome.
That sounds
Good,
good.
pause there. So, there's a little bit of a transition I hear, right? And you tell me if you felt it. All of a sudden, it's starting to turn into a sales call. To me,
Yeah.
right? That's the perception I'm getting of. You're starting to tell me all these things. I'm starting to feel a little overwhelmed if I'm in this person's, it's my first sale.
Right,
I don't know what's going on.
right.
This all sounds good. I've already agreed to the appointment with you. Can I maybe do something similar and leave them wanting more.
We'll talk
So
about
let me
it.
see if this sounds differently to you, and I'm putting words in your mouth, right? But this was my person as I'm listening.
Good.
So I'm talking to you, Michelle. So you just told me one of your biggest things, with this being your first home sale. Totally understand some of the nervousness and the stress level, right? And you told me that your biggest concern is marketing and how that's going to happen. When I meet with you on Saturday, I would love to take some time and talk to you about your custom marketing plan that I've started to build out for you. Would that be okay to spend some time really diving into that on Saturday?
Yes, that's all.
Awesome. And then I move on from there. What did I do? I let her know I have a custom plan just for her to sell your home. And in her head, she's going, well, I want to know more about it. Like, can we talk about it now? I don't want to take up too much of your time today. Like, I'm going to bring some visuals. I'm going to show you kind of what we do. Like, we can if you really want to, but it's a fairly decent chunk of time that it would take for that. You want to just jump into it on Saturday? Yeah. Well, it's Wednesday. What is she thinking about Thursday, Friday, until you get there on Saturday?
Marketing plan.
Show me the money.
Right.
Show me the marketing plan.
Right.
So now I did the same thing without getting into maybe coming across as two sales.
Mhm.
Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Does it sound different to you?
It does.
Does it internalize a little
more
different?
Comfortable.
Sure. Right? Especially if it's their first one.
Right.
Like, you don't want to get commission breath, right, all over them, right? Well, what's commission breath? Me selling, right? Because I get money, right? And other people have said, don't pitch slap them, right?
Right.
This is all the things I'm going to do for you and why you should hire me. And
And so your take on, so what I just did, it seemed like I laid out a lot of what the listing presentation is going to do. So I'm taking away from the listing presentation. Is that part of it too?
so sure, it is part of it in this concept of if I get her thinking about what we're going to go through on Saturday, right? In your
And I
example,
picked on her, whatever her main point concern is.
now I can really focus that in my presentation. And I've now shortened the time that I'm going to be there, right? If I've answered most of her things and her concerns for her before I get there on Saturday, now maybe it's as simple as, hey, Michelle, it's really nice to see you. Hey, Steve, good to see you too. Hey, tell me about the marketing, and then I'm ready to go. Great. 15 minutes, 20 minutes, I'm showing you all the marketing thing. Cool. Is there anything else that you have concerns about or you have questions about? No. Where do I sign? Sign here. Press R. Anything else? I'm going to send you a text message later today with anything that we may need. And I'm out. 15, 20 minutes, I'm gone, as opposed to an hour, hour and a half
Right.
of having to go through the whole thing. Helps me laser focus my attention on what does she want to know? What does she need? What are her goals?
Right.
As opposed to, let me tell you all the things that make you wonderful. Make sense?
Mhm.
You're up.
Okay. Calling Natalie.
Mm, okay,
Hi Natalie, how are you?
fine, how are you?
I'm well, so I'm getting everything ready for our appointment on Saturday. I just have a few more questions for you, if you don't mind.
Okay,
What is the most important thing you're looking for in your listing agent?
Listing
What can I
presentation
do for you?
Saturday.
Good.
Something similar to that.
availability,
Okay,
Here's
okay.
a
Anything else?
I'll send this out to you.
um,
Get some
I just
preliminary
want
information.
to make
so I can
sure
make
I've had
sure
a
that
bad
when we meet on
experience in
Saturday,
the house
I'm
with
focusing on the
not,
most important things for you.
my
Right.
house, a
As opposed
previous
to,
home not being
let me just
shown.
focus on me, I gotta get all this stuff out.
Often,
Right.
and it was hard to
Because you're going
concentrate.
through that, the other thing.
Okay, well, I'm sorry to hear that. I
You're
will
reading.
make sure to do my best for that. Make sure that does not happen again.
Go with
So what's the best way to communicate with you?
Probably by text or phone, either.
Okay, and then how often would you like me to follow up with you?
I think once a week.
Once a week is fine, so it takes once a week just to update the conditions of the market and update the showings of your home.
Yeah.
Once a week works for you.
Question.
Awesome, well, Natalie, I will see you Saturday at 4 o'clock and we can continue to talk about it.
Okay, thank you, Michelle.
It's always fun. I was trying to spoke. Okay.
Yeah, huh. You couldn't open it? When
I
you
have to
opened
get
it?
Word on my computer.
Oh, darn. I just,
About Apple.
oh, you know what? You're, I was just talking to a friend of mine yesterday, and I paid $50
For the year.
for the year,
Okay.
but he told me about, I need to get the website from it. And you can pay, I think it's $50 but it's forever.
Cool.
Yeah,
A Word?
so you know, of course you wouldn't have an updated version, but
That's fine.
yeah, I'll find out what the name of the
Yep.
website
Just had a
is.
couple walk in, and no one signed in, but they're looking for maybe a foreclosure list or rental property.
So my two listings, my two appointments yesterday,
Talk with Mr. Harvey.
one guy wants to pull the trigger bad. Man, I'm so ready, but.
I'm gonna step out for a second, guys, talk to these
Okay.
people, take a couple minutes, take a quick break. When they jump back on, let them know to take a couple minute break, and if you
Okay.
have time.
Okay. I'm gonna, I'll let you back in.
Oh, I have the door stop right here.
Oh, okay, great. Call Dexter. Yeah. Uh-uh. You got it? Well, you know what? Well, my only concern would be, it seems like they are notorious for issuing corrected ones later. Ameriprise. I did get one by mail, but I always get at least one correction. So I would be a little weary of filing my tax return. You know, you may wanna wait until it's closer to the due date. And I don't even know with the pandemic, are they enforcing the April 15th deadline? Uh-huh. Oh, yeah, for individuals. Mm-hmm. Hmm. Mm-hmm. 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 Distribution? Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh. Mm-hmm. Huh. Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. I know, I would think so. Well, I would think so. So are you doing your own tax return? Uh, Yeah.
You know, in the trash bag.
Yeah. That's ridiculous. Yeah.
So I'm going on my listing presentation Monday, Saturday.
Okay. So that's what, number 5 this week?
No, this is a listing presentation.
Oh,
The
okay.
other one is just appointments.
Who is this person?
Yeah.
Ex-model one,
Oh.
Oh,
she read it, she
Yeah.
motivated. It
Mhm.
went from, give me some information to,
yeah. Wow.
how's that going?
Well, hey, I want to ask
Where's
you,
where's it located?
what
In
was that,
Hondo?
that website you
Which
told
Across
me
the,
about?
so
to
across
get
the lake,
Uh-huh.
and then across the
To
river.
get
Oh,
Microsoft
okay.
Office?
Gotcha.
It's I don't know how far. I wish I had my.
Because I'm at Keller Williams and somebody was, just said they needed,
It's in there
Microsoft
somewhere, but anyway, it's a ways.
Bonanza.
Okay. Have you looked up the house and everything? I'm sure you've been there.
Yes, a bunch of times. And so I'm going over Saturday to give the presentation, take pictures.
Really? Huh?
Paperwork signed.
Wow.
How you doing?
Happy birthday.
Uh-huh.
Whose
Uh-huh.
birthday? Oh, happy birthday.
Thank you. 18 today. Yes.
Okay.
Anytime you guys come in, I know you're coming in for class, but if you sign in,
Uh-huh.
have to log in.
For class 2?
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm guilty.
Yeah, me too. What birthday?
Sorry.
Wow. Well, this is
Thank
great.
you.
I was just telling
I don't think that's not-
someone about it here,
I don't know.
but I couldn't remember.
But I
the
can
name,
remember
so.
them,
Okay, Bonanza.
Cody did it, and, the lady gave the woman that called his information, so.
I don't know what did my phone. I wonder if I left it before.
I can tell you what this, he was listening to call.
You good?
So, yeah. Okay, I'm looking on bonanza.com and that's not the website. I wonder if it's .org. It's Bonanza something. The Bonanza Society. I don't think this is it. Okay, I did that. And it was. Well, this says Valentine's Day shop, women's fashion, men's fashion, home and garden, health and beauty. Yeah, I think I am. Let me see. Let me see. I'm gonna try again. No, it's the same thing. I am in Chrome, and but it's bringing up. It's not bringing up. It's obviously a different. Are you bringing?
I'm getting the one you're on.
Yeah. Yeah, and Michelle, my friend here is also getting the same site, you know, that is obviously not the one that you're getting. Thank you.
Thank you.
You've got problems, Dexter. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. All right.
So my 2 appointments yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. You're gonna send it?
one guy, the guy, he's so ready. He's like, I just
Yeah.
want to get rid of the
That-
house.
That's,
But he won't put,
okay,
he
let
don't
me see.
understand the commission part. He said, because people have called and like, are you willing to pay,
Darn.
the buyer's commission?
Brr.
He said, why am I gonna pay for them to do, for them?
They're gonna do it anyway.
Huh?
He's gonna have to do that anyway.
You don't know.
Let me
You
see.
don't understand the commission structure, and I wanted to.
Yeah,
Anthony agree with that.
BONANZA,
I think that's what he's really nervous about. And then,
but it's this,
Almost-
it's this
he was
website.
so ready.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
now, create a Bonanza
and the
account.
second one,
I wonder if, when I did the
she
login.
said, no, we're gonna, list it for about a month, give it a shot, and then she said, I had no problem with,
Okay.
giving the agent 3% for the buyer. I said, well, thank you
Okay.
for that very much. She said, well, y'all working?
Mm-hmm.
And she said, in a month, if we don't sell it, we're probably gonna go with somebody like you. I was like, really? I'm thinking to myself, really? Sweet. So, and
Hold
we
on.
willing to pay
Sorry.
commission on that too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm operating with one
That's what I said.
finger.
Yeah. I'll tell
Oh,
you.
She's one of the
username.
cards I wrote out this
Oh,
morning.
do I,
good.
I tell you what, I think I better go. I'm gonna try it and I'll call you back on my way home and let you know if it worked. Thank you, Dexter. I'll talk to you later. Bye. I think that you have to do the bonanza.com/login.
Okay.
And then you create an account, because until you create an account, they won't allow you to purchase any software.
Okay.
Okay? Yeah,
Thank you.
sure thing. I haven't done it. But he says it's a great deal.
Sounds like it.
Yeah. I'm so mad that I just, when I bought my laptop, I bought the $50
Mm-hmm.
annual, and it only allows, well, and I think this only allows for one computer.
Okay.
You might have the option to pay more and get it for more than one computer.
Gotcha. OMG, I'm gonna need a new phone here soon. I'm gonna pay for a charging port. Did you go sign in, Steve?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, so what can I do? Oh, here we go. So these houses, the appointments that you're going on, what are, like the prices of the house?
Possible buyer's agent.
No, the prices.
Oh, the prices.
Yeah.
So the one I went, it was 175, I think.
Okay.
This is one of the first sale by owners.
Yes,
Uh-huh.
that's all I'm going
Oh,
on right now.
How were those that you went to yesterday?
Yes, the first one was a guy,
Uh-huh.
he's super motivated.
Oh,
He
really?
just wants to get rid of it.
Uh-huh. Oh, really? So
Yeah.
he was very interested in your,
Interested but not ready to pull the trigger. And I was telling Michelle, I think that he doesn't understand the commission structure.
mhm.
He said, because I had buyers calling me, my agents calling me up, asking me if I was willing to pay a commission to the buyer's agent. He said, why am I gonna pay for their agent?
Mhm,
You don't understand.
mhm,
So I think that's what he was kind of nervous about. I tried to, I don't think I addressed it good enough for him.
mhm,
And he's worried about if he's gonna have to lose money if he has an agent.
mhm.
And I even told him that one of the percentages, I said, 85, 89% of buyers are gonna have an agent.
Yeah,
I said, I'm an agent looking out for your best interests. So anyway, so we went from there, but
yeah,
he was so right there, but he just wouldn't pull the trigger. So
yeah,
I need to talk to my wife. I said, I understand, go talk to your wife.
yeah,
I'll be in touch.
yeah. So
And then
we're,
I threw,
uh-huh,
I wrote his real address down because it went to a different house. That's one of the pieces of papers I threw away.
well, wait, you mean you have the house that he's trying to sell is not, he doesn't reside there?
No,
Well, we can easily find that. I can find his address for you. All you have to do is go on the assessor's website. It's in St. Tammany Parish.
yes.
Okay, you have
I
the
don't know.
address?
For the house he's trying to sell?
Yeah, is that, you're looking for his residence?
Yes.
Okay.
You can do that?
Yeah, yeah. Here, God, this computer drives me nuts. I don't know what. I'm so sick of all of this Microsoft Edge stuff. Huh?
Enter now, that might work.
Enter. Okay.
But I did it and it went from,
I don't want to get the latest. I want to get out of here.
just click to the side, see if it goes away. It won't go away.
Uh-uh. Escape. Oh, take control. I don't want any information on Microsoft Edge.
Can I borrow it now?
Please.
I just can't see it from back here, but
I've got the little guru here.
She's awesome.
She's a guru.
Excuse me.
it's,
You want to see them today at 2?
Who's that?
Listing.
Oh no, which property is that?
It's on 7th Street in Covington.
Oh, what's the address on 7th?
70317.
Oh, it's off of 190. It runs.
Oh, you telling me?
Yeah,
Okay.
because there's 7th Avenue, which is in like Old Covington, and then you've got 7th Street, and those run off of 190. 190.
Right. Are we supposed to include them?
did they pop back in?
I'm sure they did by now.
Yeah, he just said to kind of go over our own stuff. I'm not sure what he wanted us to do.
I'm not going to.
Were you
That's
able
way
to
above
get
my
it?
pay grade. That's above my pay grade, Michelle. I can't do it.
Thank you. How did you do that?
I restarted it.
'Cause she's a
Thank
beast.
you.
I'm not sure. I wasn't paying attention to it. I think we're just hanging out for a second.
He's dealing with some potential customers.
That's what I want to deal with.
Well,
Potential clients.
you know what? You're definitely making every effort to do that.
Exactly. You're getting there.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's see. I'm gonna,
Hey, Alu.
okay, so. Okay, so what's the address of your, wait, hold on one second. What's the address of that property that you wanted to?
211
Uh-huh,
05
uh-huh,
St. Anne Street
okay.
in Covington.
His name is Jared Hinkle.
Hingle? Hinkle?
Hingle, Hingle.
Hingle.
Is that not who you met with?
That's
yet?
him?
Okay. But that's weird. It shows, normally if it's, it looks like he's living there. Is he not, he's not living there?
All the lights are everything on, but no, he's not living there.
Oh, really?
He's moved, he
Huh.
and his little family.
Well,
It doesn't show he owns another home in there somewhere?
maybe he's bought it and the assessment records are not,
Okay.
hold on, let me look under his name.
Says Gerard, Jared,
Gared,
G-A.
Red, Let's see if he has, oh yeah, he does have another, oh. He owns 6 acres. But he must have purchased, maybe he's moved and the assessment records are not updated, so sorry.
Yeah, that's okay.
It shows on his assessment for the St. Anne property, normally if they, you know, if they live somewhere else, you've got the property address is like the St. Anne address, but then the mailing address would reflect where
Right.
he lives, and it shows as St. Anne. Oh, so tell me the address of that, on 7th Street?
It's the one today. It's 70317. That's James and Jamie Clessy.
Plessy?
Clessy, C-L-E-S-I.
Okay. I was just curious. It looks nice. The house. Yeah. Yeah, you know where it is? There's so much development off of what's known as Dog Pound Road.
Mhm.
It's really Harrison Avenue, but that's where that house is. There's a CVS right there that you turn by. You go down 190
Right.
and then you turn right by the CVS.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you turn right and then the streets, that's Harrison Avenue.
Right.
And then you'll see 7th Street is,
Wow.
yeah,
I can't do that.
what?
What you doing?
All right, you're good.
Well, see, the thing is, I mean, because of doing title work for so many years, I mean, I'm like, I really need a job as a detective. Cause that's, I mean, and then I worked for this company, for a year that, it was a really good idea. They, looked for people that were wrongfully claiming homestead exemptions. So what we would do is we would go in, we had access to information that showed, you know, that the general public doesn't have, you know, access to.
Right.
And you could do background checks on people and it would show any other addresses for them and their vehicles, all the whole history of vehicles they've ever driven. And anyway, you put a case together to support, like if it was apparent they weren't residing at the place where they were claiming a
Right.
homestead exemption. I mean, it's amazing. There's just nothing in place to catch people that are, you know, wrongfully claiming homestead exemptions. So
And
It was sort of-
how were they making money by doing that?
well, they would approach the assessors in various parishes throughout Louisiana, or we did a lot of work in Texas. And I mean, the assessor's offices are missing out on so much revenue because people are getting these homestead exemptions that they should not be getting. And they really owe a lot more in taxes because they're not entitled to the homestead exemption. So they would, this company would approach the assessor's offices, and a lot of them wanted to do it, and they were paid by the assessor's office. They got so much for every violator that they found.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was, but I really felt like I was really in the detective mode then. So it was fun. I liked it. So anyway, but that's what I do. I was a little snoop, doing a lot of snooping on people. So anyway, well, that looks like a nice house. You've looked at it on the MLS, that one
Yes.
on 7th. And so you have
Actually, on
another,
Zillow.
oh, okay. And you've looked at, I mean, you have another appointment today as well?
That's the one.
Oh, okay.
I only have one today. I'm
Okay.
slacking. I'm slacking. I only have one appointment. I'm slacking.
Oh, gosh.
Whatever. All right, so let's talk about what just happened. Jay and Rhonda, you there?
I'm here.
Good. Thank you for having some grace and having a little bit of a break there. That works out good. So
All right.
we had 2 people walk in, right? And one of them is a long-term renter. He's ready to be a buyer, right?
Uh-huh,
And the sister is needs a rental.
uh-huh,
So 2 people just walked in.
uh-huh.
Nobody put their names on the sheet. Could have been you having a conversation,
Ah,
right?
oh, yeah.
Put your names on. You never know when you have a walk-in.
Uh-huh,
Now, how do I go through and qualify, are they A, B, or C buyers? Right? The
Uh-huh.
conversations I just had. What are you looking for? When are you looking, et cetera? The lady is an A renter. She wants something right now.
mhm,
Her price range is a little low for our market, so it may be a little tough to find,
mhm.
but I'm still gonna go through and see what I can do to be of value.
Yeah,
The buyer, the gentleman, he says he's pre-qualified. I don't know. I explained the difference between pre-qualified and pre-approved,
uh-huh,
gave him a little bit of homework. I will now follow up because he at least is raising his hand saying, ooh, I want to buy something.
Right.
Like that's worth following up, right?
uh-huh,
He may be pre-approved for $300,000. I have no idea.
yeah,
But if I'm judgmental on, well, you're not pre-approved or you're not pre-qualified,
uh-huh,
well, that seems silly, right?
Uh-huh.
How can I help him figure out that information, walk through these steps, and now help him go from 16 years of being a renter to achieving his dream of buying a home?
yeah, uh-huh.
Do you think I ever felt like a salesperson in those conversations? No.
Uh-huh,
You're asking for help. You're asking me to help you find a rental. You're asking me to help you become a homeowner for the first time.
uh-huh,
Like that's a cool thing.
yeah,
Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
yeah. I have a question.
Sure.
I mean, isn't pre-approved what you want people to be, not pre-qualified?
Yes.
Pre-approved is,
Yep. So let's talk about the difference while we're
Okay.
talking about it.
okay.
Pre-qualified basically is this. I'm talking to a lender
Mhm,
of some shape, form, bank, professional mortgage lender, whatever.
mhm,
And they say, hey, how much do you make? Well, I make about this.
uh-huh,
Cool. What's your credit score? Well, it's around this,
uh-huh,
right? How many hours are you working? What's this, right? They have their questions.
yeah,
Well, they plug that in based on what I'm telling you. And they
right,
go, oh, you'll be pre-qualified for around $150,000. Oh, okay, cool.
mhm,
They haven't agreed to give me the money.
Mhm.
They just said, hey, based on what you told me,
yeah,
you should be able to qualify for $150,000.
uh-huh,
Awesome. That's pre-qualified. Pre-approved is, Ms. Natalie, you said you made $130,000 last year.
yeah,
Show me.
Uh-huh.
I want some pay stubs.
right,
Hey, you said your credit score is about 700.
uh-huh,
Show me. We're gonna do a credit check.
Right.
yeah,
Now I get the real numbers, whatever they may be. I
yeah,
put them into my formula and go, Miss Natalie, I will give you $148,000,
mhm,
or I'll give you $120,000. That's how much money I will give you.
Yeah.
You're pre-approved for this amount. Does that make sense?
uh-huh,
So pre-approved is what we need, because now I know you can borrow the money. The second part to that question is always where you have to care more about your person than your commission. Miss Natalie, you're approved for $300,000.
Uh-huh.
Cool. Like we can find you all kinds of house for that. That's going to be great. How much do you want your monthly note to be? Well, I really don't want my monthly note to be more than like $1,100.
Uh-huh.
We can't buy a house for $300,000 then. Your note's going to be way higher than that.
Right.
So you're pre-approved for this amount,
Uh-huh.
but because I care about you and not my commission,
Uh-huh.
we should probably stay around the 150, 160 range maybe.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So you're comfortable with your monthly bills,
Uh-huh.
not you're qualified for this, right? That's how I'm a better fiduciary to you,
Mm-hmm.
right? I always laughed at my mom because she'd get the credit cards in the mail. You are approved for a $500,000 credit limit. She's like, okay. I'm like, you should get one of those cards at some point. Like, we should go around the world. What are we doing? She's like, why would I take on that debt?
Right.
Just because I can get it doesn't mean I have to need it,
Uh-huh.
right? Okay. So now I have responsibility to follow up with these people, right? Okay. Now we're getting into the listing presentation, right? So I'm going to show you some stuff in Command as it pertains to the listing presentation. If you'll remember, you also have some of this listing presentation stuff in Trello.
Yeah.
We made you one in Trello that you have full access to. Print it. You can rock and roll with it right now. So I am going to share my screen. In Trello,
Oh, we want a Trello?
well, I'm just showing you Trello first because I have it open, right? In Trello, listing resources, the first one is the Market Center listing presentation. If I open that, that's this one. You're going to see it very similarly to the one in Command because where do we make it? In Command,
Uh-huh.
right? Now, in this one, we have added these last pages. So you will not see these in Command. These were custom made for our PC program,
Uh-huh.
right? So you're not going to see these. Well, if you want these, print these last 3 pages and add them to your one that you create. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Mhm.
All right. So I'm going to go to Command. I'm going to go back to the home screen so you can see what I see. So as always, I'm going to do this so you can kind of see it. I'm going to go down to Designs. And I'm going to click on Designs. Now, you can see some of these are already designs that I have made or Warren made for me, right? Does this look familiar to you guys?
Yeah.
When somebody new joins the PC program, guess what he does? He pulls this up, he sticks your photo in there, and boop, design's done. He made a template, right? It looks like I have 71 designs. He's been busy, right? So he's got birthday ones, he's got the graduation template, right? You guys have seen these posts. Well, guess what? He made them once, and now I can have him go, hey, Steve's graduating, plug it in, picture, boop, send, done, right? So you can, in this way, you've got email templates. So if you clicked on email, so these are some ones that he made. If I wanted to do a new one, I would hit the plus sign. Landing pages, like we've talked about before. This is where you can start creating a landing page for your different properties. Again, plus sign, you start a new one. Social media posts. These should look familiar to some of you, right? You're not going to have all these because he's created them,
Right.
right?
I
So
don't either.
you're right. You shouldn't have any because you haven't made any. So you got to
Right.
start playing with it. What I'm going to have you guys do is hit this print, right? I'm going to show you one that I did already, right? So mine's this listing presentation test. So this comes up, and this is the template. So now it looks a little intimidating. This is the first time you've ever played with making designs, making templates,
Mhm.
but it's really not. I got a little spinning wheel of death, but I clicked on this page, right? This is what came up. Well, I've added all of these different templates by playing around, right? So if we're in the template, a little spinning wheel of death to see how it goes, right? So this is my first page of my listing presentation, right? So now I start going through the pages. If I wanted to start altering the text, I would just come in and alter the text, right? This template is already here for you. So take a look for a second. You see this photo, right? It's the exact same photo that's in your Market Center listing presentation that I've already made for you guys.
Uh-huh.
What did we do? We just deleted these other two pictures and put your guide. And if you notice in the one that's already made for you, there's 3 little bullet points. Well, what did I do? I took this one and said, what do I want it to say? I don't want that picture and I don't want that picture. Go away. That picture looks good. I want this to say this. Da-da, da-da, da-da. And I typed it. Right? Now, I'm going to be 100% honest. This is not my 20%. This is not my thing. So guess what? I paid somebody to make that Market Center listing presentation. Hey, you're a graphic designer. This is going to take you 15 minutes. It's going to take me 15 hours and stress me out. How much will it cost for you to do that? She gave us the price. We wrote her the check. She made the presentation. Cool. The more I get in here and play, the more comfortable I get,
Right.
the more I can do it. This big long one to me, right? So a listing presentation has multiple pages. There's lots of things that I need to start playing with and doing, right? Designs is part of your 66-day challenge. So it'll walk you through how to do all of this. I'm not going to spend all of our time on that, right? This is still, to me, being fully transparent, a little bit more than I want to do, right?
Yep.
If I go back to, oops, it doesn't let me. If I go back to just like the social media, right? A single page, right? I could make one of these, right? I add a couple little pictures and I add a little bit of script, right? That's more in my comfort zone to start with. So guess what I would recommend for you guys? Start with something small. Like go to social media, right? And we're going to add a new one. Do I want to add a social? Do I want to do a print? Whatever, right? If you do want to play with the, if I do want to play with the listing presentation and make it more Steve, add in your photo, add in stuff specifically about you. Cool. I'm going to hit this plus button. I'm going to hit print. I'm going to hit next. And that's going to take me into my little KW design workspace. So we'll let the little spinning wheel of death go. And now it brings all of this stuff up. So you guys are about to have your minds blown of all the cool things you can start playing with and look like a rock star online, right? So now, do I want to make a postcard? Do I want to make a flyer? Do I want to pursue listings? Right? Well, maybe I want to do a just listed. Well, now I pull up any of these that I want to use. Let's say it's this one. I want to use it. It's going to pull this up. And now I can start playing around. It's already like, this is graphic designer stuff. Like I look like a rock star already of I can start changing the logo and I can drag my logo in. Let's do, it changes to my logo, right? Let's say I want that one. Oh, I can do it this way too. I hit that button and it's gonna put my face, right? Now all of a sudden I'm starting to have some cool stuff happening, right? Let's say I want to add in a Facebook image, right? And I want that to be, you know, over here. And I want to make sure I put my Facebook text, right? I want to add a subtitle. Boom, and my Facebook is, I tried to type on my paper to see that didn't work, right? It's at agent 985. Well, I need to make it bigger and I need to make it, ooh, we'll do that. I can put it up here, all right? And I need to make it a little bit smaller. Well, now I'm a graphic designer all of a sudden. I didn't have to go to college. Look at all the cool things I can do. You're not going to do great on your first few of these.
Right.
Fail forward. Just play with it. And all of a sudden you got one that you like. Cool, I can download it. And now you have an image. Go put it on your social media, print it out, stick it with your presentation. Hey, Steve, I knew I was coming. You're meeting with Michelle. I threw together a quick little ad of what your first marketing thing might be on my social media. And I printed you out a quick little version, right? What do you think about it? That's really cool, Steve. Thanks. Now, I'll update the photos with photos of your property, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But this is kind of what it might look like. Ooh, that's a visual that they're going to see. Like, that's pretty cool. Make sense?
Yep.
All right. So you can share it straight from there too. No, I don't want to save you, right? It doesn't look that nice yet. But you've got all your templates, right? So I'm going back into where we were before. I'm going to hit print again, just because I want to be able to print out whatever I'm working on. So it's making my workspace again. And I want to show you, you have options. I want to show you things that you can do. So let's say you did want to work on your listing presentation. I click on listing presentation. Look, there's 5 different versions. If you go look at the one that I made for the Market Center, right? Let me restate that. The one that we had made for the Market Center wasn't me. It's this one. It's the classic version. But let's say you wanted to use the more modern version. Well, good. You do you. You run your business how you want to run your business. I now pulled up the listing presentation. Well, I want to add that page. So I added it, right? And maybe I don't like the instruction page. Ooh, but I like that page. So I'm gonna click add. I added that page, right? So now it's got I can put my image, I can put my DBA stuff, my name, I can put the Keller Williams logo on there. Ooh, I like the look of that page layout. I'm gonna add that one, right? So now I can start flipping through whatever pages I want to play on. Okay, so here's your homework when it comes to this. I'm gonna give you a 2-part homework. Number 1, go get the Market Center listing presentation off Trello so your brain stops freaking out. You got one. It's done. It looks nice.
Is that one?
It's that one,
Okay.
right?
Yep.
It's already finished.
Uh-huh.
You don't have to stress about it. If you never did anything besides that one, you're still better off than 99% of agents because they don't walk in with their own.
Right.
Second part of your homework, go start clicking around and playing in designs. Now, I don't want you to do that for 6 hours, right?
Mhm.
I don't want you to do it if you start to get stressed when you're doing it.
Uh-huh.
I want you to do it because it's a tool that you have and it's fun and you can make a nice little social post and it'd be better than you just typing something or stealing an image off of the internet, right? Or whatever it may be. I want you to do this just because it's something that you can do,
Mhm.
right? And then if you like it, great. If it's really not your thing, leverage it out, have somebody else do it.
Mhm.
That's totally fine. Right? So I'm going back into it one more time so you can see it. I clicked the plus sign every time. I hit print, but I wanted to show you like where did I see the one earlier?
So when I hit print, I don't get anything.
I'll look at it in just a second.
Okay.
So here's lead generation, right? So I went into the templates and I went into lead generation. Well, I'm gonna click on holiday just because it's fun. Well, now there's some holiday templates, hello, that you could print out, right? There's home value, curious about selling. Ooh, I could type in some stuff, put your info, use it, right? Download it, and now go send this out to all your people. What about, maybe you just want to put something up about, I love Keller Williams, right? Because you're looking to add people to your downline. Well, or you just joined Keller Williams instead of just the picture that we took of you or a picture of your business card, Michelle. Maybe you go download this one and change it up a little bit.
I do want to change my Facebook page because it's been up there since I joined.
Sure. So you just
That way it stays new and people looking, oh, what do you do now?
Absolutely. So here's one maybe for you, Steve, right? I clicked the personally branded zone, new beginnings. I put that up as my post, right? I put the Keller Williams logo on it. I put some verbiage on it. And then my post says, hey, to everybody who knows me, I've got a new beginning in my life. I've joined Keller Williams Realty. Let me know if I can be of any help. Short, sweet, boom.
Right.
Right?
I love the short, sweet stuff.
So I wanted to just show this to you, not because you're going to be an expert after looking at this once, right? Go to your 66-day challenge on YouTube. Go to the one that walks you through step by step through all the designs,
Yeah.
right? Marty Miller's video is going to be way better than me just clicking and showing you. And what's your best teacher? Just try it.
Right.
Click and see what happens. Does this make sense to everybody?
Not totally, but I'm all over it.
You at least can figure out where we can play with it.
Yeah.
Rhonda, Jay, we're good?
Yeah, pretty good. I just have a question, like say if I wanted to do a postcard and farm a community, how do you, I guess at that point I'm stuck. Do you print it? Do you email it? Do you, like, and if you do print it, where do you go to get it printed?
Sure. So first thing I would tell you is get the phrase bomb a neighborhood out of your vocabulary. That didn't sound very good.
I said farm, like I live on a farm.
Farm. Okay. I heard bomb. You can't say bomb on an airplane. That's no good, right? But you want a farm neighborhood. I love it. Okay. Farming, I'm good. Baby goats, I'm happy with. So in order to get that information, you can do it a couple different ways, right? You can do a lot of legwork and go pull all the addresses. Some title companies will have those lists for you. You also can use software like Mojo or RedX, et cetera, to geofarm particular neighborhoods, right? On the printing part of it, it's wherever you get your best price, right? We do get a group discount at Office Depot. So you could go print your postcards there. You could order them from Vistaprint or any site like that, as long as you understand this is all marketing material and you have to get it approved by Linda first, right? So there are certain places that we've used a lot. She's already given them the grace, right? To when a new agent contacts graphic design or whatever, right? They know what it is approved and not approved. So if you try to turn something, they're like, no, like you need to use our little format or whatever. Does that make sense?
Good to know. Thank you.
Yep. Awesome. All right. So practicing the listing presentation, right? This is where I'm going to go through. I'm going to do a little demo first. And then I'm going to give you guys some time to do this on your own, Okay, so I'm gonna pull up, share my screen, that one. I'm gonna go back into Trello. I'm gonna open this up. Open it in a new tab. So now I'm gonna be doing this virtually, right? You absolutely can, like we did this virtually during 2020, right? Especially the first half of the year, right? And you're gonna have to get your own feeling for how this is going to go, right? So we walk in, right? Steve, I'm gonna use you, right?
Okay.
You're sitting next to me.
I have one
You're-
extra one if y'all want to see it.
you're the closest.
Awesome.
So, Steve, I really appreciate you meeting with me today.
Right.
Do you have a kitchen table or something I can go set my stuff down at?
Sure.
Awesome. I'm gonna set my bag down. I'd love to get a tour of the house. Can you take a couple minutes and show me around?
Absolutely.
Awesome. So now as we're going, we're looking around the property, right? I need to walk a fine line between, man, you have a great home, and this is the greatest home I've ever seen in my entire life, right? If I start over complimenting everything about it, right? What's he thinking every time I say, oh, these floors are gorgeous. Oh, your bathroom,
Money.
that's amazing. Money, 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 right? I knew I was right. My house is worth $1 billion, right? So you have to be appreciative of their thing.
Mhm.
And at a certain point, a floor is a floor.
Mhm.
I appreciate that you hand cut this Brazilian oak that you flew down to Brazil to do. That was probably a silly investment, right? You have a floor. They want a floor. They're really pretty.
Mhm.
They're really nice,
Mhm.
but they don't make it $1 billion house. So I've got to be working through that in my head, right? The other thing you need to be careful of is on your tours, setting a precedent of something similar to, hey, Steve, as we walk around, I'm going to look at this from a buyer's perspective. Well, what does that mean? Most of the time, they're going to make it through your whole house in 15 minutes, which isn't a lot of time. And they're not going to have the benefit I have today of a guided tour. So I'm going to walk a little bit quicker, right? Please feel free to point out anything super special that you want me to notice, but I'm going to kind of walk and ask some questions if you don't mind. Is that cool?
Sure.
Awesome. So now we're walking, be like, oh, hey, when did you redo the bathroom? Because it's a little bit different than the rest of the house.
6 months ago,
6 months ago. It looks like you did a really nice job. Did you do it yourself? Did you hire it out?
hired out.
Good plan. I love it. Okay, cool. Great. Now I didn't go into why I picked that cabinet and oh yeah, the rich golden tone of the honey oak. And like I don't need all that, right?
Right.
That was him picking stuff to make him happy, not it's gonna add value, right? So I think it's great. You redid your home, your bathroom, right? Kitchens and bathrooms tend to add some value. That's gonna be a good selling feature. Like that's gonna help us out. Awesome job. Awesome. All right, next, where are we going next? Ooh, Den's over here. Cool. So I can do a little tour. When we get finished, hey, thank you for doing that. I really appreciate that. Is there anything that you think I missed as we were going through? Yeah, you didn't say anything about the kitchen cabinets. Oh, I noticed they're all soft close. They're really awesome. I just didn't bring it up. I didn't say it. Oh, he was paying attention, right? Or yeah, you didn't say anything about, the 15-foot mirror, right? I'm assuming you're taking that with you. It's like a $4,000 mirror, right? Yeah, it was actually $5,000 for you. Okay, you're taking that with you? Good, because I don't want it in here, right? So I'm going through this tour process, right? Now, Steve, you want to sit down and chat a little bit?
Sure.
Awesome. A little psychological stuff for you, right? I don't really want to sit across from him. It's kind of a confrontational position.
Mhm.
If possible, I'm gonna sit him at the head of the table or he's on one side. I'm gonna say, hey, if you don't mind, I'm gonna sit here so I'm a little bit closer to you. If they're uncomfortable with that, we'll sit over there, right? So do you mind if I sit right here?
Not at all.
Awesome. So now I'm here. So now we can share a paper. I'm a little bit in your space, right? I'm not all up in his grill,
Right.
but we're sharing a little bit of commonality, right? And I may kick my chair a little on an angle, just so he's got a little bit more, but I'm not directly across, right?
Mhm.
Little added bonus for you, right? So Steve, I brought this with you. I brought you a copy. Ooh, whoa, this looked familiar. Weird, huh? Right? I brought this with you. If you don't mind, I'd love to go through this, right, and touch on some highlights.
Sounds good.
All right, so here's what this presentation contains. It's got your timeline. It's got some information about your custom and marketing plan that we're going to go through. And we're going to talk about how we're going to represent your home. Does that all sound good to you?
Absolutely.
Sweet. Now, I have a question for you, Steve. Are you more of a bullet point guy or are you more of a visual guy?
Bullet point.
Bullet point. Awesome. We're going to spend a lot of our time right here on page number 3 then. Cool?
Yes.
So now I'm going to start going through these bullet points, right? I'm going to make it a little bit bigger
Thank you.
so my old eyes don't have to work so hard, right? So first step, initial meeting, doing the walkthrough, doing a needs assessment, right? Doing a needs analysis. High five, we're already done with number 1, right?
Right.
We're already going through how we can get your home sold, right? Number 2, signing the listing agreement. We're going to come back to that. Let's not rush this, right? Number 3, we're going to prepare your property for your sale. So what am I talking about here, Steve? I'm talking about what's the process from right now to getting your home sold. So I'm just kind of walking him through the steps, right? I'm going to go through. We're going to launch a coming soon campaign. Now, can I tell you a little bit of what that means?
Sure.
Awesome. So the rules for real estate have changed recently. We used to be able to put coming soon up whenever we wanted, get a whole lot of buzz going, and then take advantage of this extra kind of free marketing. We legally can't do that anymore. We have 24 hours to announce the coming soon and getting your house listed and in the multiple listing service, what we call the MLS. So here's what my new coming soon campaign looks like. We're gonna do some of that. We're gonna do a photo. We're gonna do a little video with me out front saying, hey, this bad boy's coming soon, blah, blah, blah. That's only gonna get us 24 hours of exposure. But I'm also gonna go around to all of your neighbors and I'm gonna door knock and I'm gonna let them know we've got a house coming open in your neighborhood. Do they know anybody who might be interested in moving in? We're gonna start to create a buzz everywhere as your coming soon campaign. How's that sound to you?
Sounds great.
Awesome. So now I'm getting some buy-in, right? Moving on. We're going to talk about establishing a competitive price. Now, Steve, let me ask you this question. What's the most important thing for you in selling this home?
Getting the most money I can.
Getting the most money you can. Good. That's my job too, right? If I could sell it for $1 million, I would. I don't think the market's going to let me. So besides the price, and we're going to dive into that, but besides the price, is there any other reason that you would choose not to work with me today?
No.
Okay, awesome. If he says no, I'm diving into price. Let's talk about that. Let's really dive into that and solve that problem. If he says, yeah, okay, what are those concerns? What can I answer for you?
Well, because I'm going to jump on what Michelle was talking about. Communication seems like a common thing.
Sure.
Communication.
Awesome. What does that mean to you? How do I best communicate with you, Steve?
I would like to be informed about the decisions that are being made, what's going on with the home in a timely manner, which is, a couple times a week, maybe.
Sure. So can I tell you what I found to work best for most of my clients?
Sure.
Bookending the week. So once we have your property sold, every Monday, we're going to reach out to you and we're going to let you know what happened over the weekend, because that's when a lot of the showings happen, right? But at least over the weekend or what's happened since Friday, okay? We're gonna tell you what the market did. We're gonna tell if there's any price changes. We're gonna say how your house is still comparing to everything on the market. Maybe 30 new homes came available, or maybe yours is the only one left. I don't know. But we're gonna have that conversation every Monday. And then every Friday, we're gonna have a conversation about what happened during the week and preparing for the weekend. Do we need to have a price adjustment? Maybe, I don't know. Do we need to schedule an open house? Do we need to have a different conversation about how we're marketing it? I don't know, but we're gonna have those conversations on Monday and Friday. Does that sound like that'll cover everything that you need?
That sounds good.
Awesome. So now I've laid out a plan, right? So I'm gonna address any things that he has. Steve, we can still go through all of these bullet points. I'm gonna leave this here with you. So if you would like to talk about anything else, we can. Otherwise, we can go through this, or we can just talk about price. Which would you prefer?
I want to talk about price.
Sweet. Set this aside. Let's talk about price. Now I'm starting to have conversations around the market versus me, right? So, Steve, here, I don't know if you understand how this works, but let me go through some of this stuff for you. Who gets to set the price of your home?
Market.
Right. Most people don't understand that, right? So high five, you're better than most people. Most people are concerned with, well, I can set the price.
Ah,
Well, I want you to be able to set the price, but unfortunately,
right.
we don't get to dictate that, right? So where does that come from? So let me ask you this question, Steve. Do you know what the price of Apple stock is?
I have no idea.
Me neither, but let's say it's $200 a share. Well, who determines that? Where do we get the prices for stocks?
Stock market.
Stock market, right? The housing market is the same way. Well, why is a Apple stock worth $200? Well, that's what people are willing to pay for it. Could Apple stock go up tomorrow? Sure. So we now have to pay more than $200.
Right.
Could Apple stock go down tomorrow? Sure. Well, now we get to pay less than $200. If I tell you that Apple stock is worth $200 a share, dictated by the stock market, but I told you, Steve, that I want $300 a share, what would you tell me?
I don't want the stock.
Right, you wouldn't buy it.
Right.
You'd say I was insane. You might use some colorful language about me, right? You're not going to pay more than what the market says it's worth. Your house works the same way. You don't get to set the price. I don't get to set the price. If we did, we'd sell it for $1 million.
Right.
You'd make more money. I'd make more money. We'd both be happy. That'd be great. Unfortunately, the market sets the price. And the market is what people are willing to pay right now for your home.
Right.
So as part of our pricing, what I'm going to do is what we call a competitive market analysis. We call it CMA for short. It's our version of an appraisal, right? So I'm going to look at all the properties that are for sale, that are pending, that are under contract, that are non-listed and sold, ones that have sold in the last 6 months. I'm going to look at all of these and figure out what the market is telling us about what they say the value of your home is right now. Does that sound like a fair deal?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So in order to be able to do that, I need to see your home, which I have. So now I can compare apples to apples. Now, I did a preliminary CMA to get an idea of what I thought the market may say about your home. Now, I can't say that it's perfect apples to apples because I'd never seen the inside of your house. I've never been here, but I have an idea. And my idea of what the market is telling us is this. Your home is going to sell for around $160,000 to $190,000 ish. To which he's probably going to respond, well, that's a big range. It is. That's why I said it was preliminary. I have to go back now and really dive into my data so I can get you a clear picture of what the value of your home is. In your mind, sorry to interrupt you.
Go.
In your mind, does the number that you were kind of thinking of, is it in that range?
No, I thought it was higher.
Okay, you thought it was higher. Okay, what were you thinking?
What did you say, 1-1?
190 was at the top.
I thought it was worth about 225, 250, something up in there.
Okay, cool. Where are you getting your numbers? Where does that come from?
I just thought it was worth that much.
Sure, right? What I want to do is get a really good CMA for you so we can see where we might have our discrepancies, right? Again, if we choose to list it, it's going to need to be around what the market is dictating, not what we hope for. Because if we overprice it, you're going to sit for a long time. I can go through the rest of that conversation, right? If we're too far apart, I need to be able to go, Steve, I'm going to do the numbers. I'm going to do this for you. But if we can't come to a commonality around this number of what the market's telling me it's worth, I'm not gonna be a good choice for you to help sell your home.
Right.
Because my job is to sell this for the most amount of money you can get in the shortest amount of time with the least amount of hassles. Well, I would be doing you a disservice if I list it for a price I know it's not gonna sell.
Right.
All that would do for me is get my sign in your yard and I look good because I have a listing. I'm not working for you at that point, I'm working for me,
Laying groundwork.
right? So now I'm showing my honesty, I'm showing my transparency of why I wanna work for you. And if we can come to a number, cool, right?
Mhm.
Sometimes it may get to a point where you have to go kind of off script here to say, I'll tell you what, Steve, here's what I can do for you. If you agree to work with me, I will pay for a pre-listing appraisal. Okay? Now this is a third party telling us what your home will actually be valued on the market. It's no longer my opinion of the data. This is someone telling me appraisal wise, this is what the bank would agree to. If that number is in the range that I'm talking about and you agree to let me list it for that number, around that number, I'm gonna eat that cost. It's gonna be about $200, $300. If it's a number that you're not going to agree to, you'll have to pay for the appraisal. Because obviously I won't be able to list the house and I won't have any way to recoup my money. Does that sound like a fair deal?
Yes, it does.
Awesome. So I will schedule an appraisal. We'll get that done. We'll put that in writing. If we list with me, that's my cost. You never owe it back to me. If we decide that we can't work together because we can't get a number that makes sense, you'll owe the couple $100 to Joe Schmo, the appraiser. Cool?
Yep.
Awesome. I've eliminated myself out of the equation. Make sense?
Yep.
Okay.
Does that happen often? Would you just run?
Sometimes.
Okay.
Sometimes, right? A lot of times it comes back to, so we're off script. We're just talking now. A lot of times it comes down to their interpretation of like, what's the value of their stuff.
Right.
I put all my blood, sweat, and tears, like I hand built
Right.
the house.
Right.
Good for you. It doesn't make it worth more, right? And you're having the conversation to change from it's your home to we're selling a house. So you chose the really high-end quartz countertops because that's what you love. You love white kitchens. That's what made it great for you. You put $60,000 pool in the back because you love to swim. That's an added lanyard thing for some people, and some people, they don't want a pool. Like that's extra money they have to spend to maintain it. So that brings the value down in their head, to which he's gonna go, bah, 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 bah. I'm like, I understand, it's crazy, I want a pool too. But some people don't have an extra $400 a month to maintain it. So there's a difference between you made it comfortable for you and you put quartz in because you love quartz. At a certain point, Steve, buyers just need a countertop. And if it happened to be tile, oh, God forbid, you would hate it, but they'd live with it. It would be okay because it was a countertop. Right? So we gotta start changing the perspective of I'm not selling your home, Steve. I'm gonna be selling a house that somebody else needs to see as their home. So I gotta get that disconnect
Yes,
going.
yes.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Now, you also, this is not in here, but you got to start having some of these suggestions of things that would be recommended. So I'll go back to Sydney, my first listing, right? I taught her at a Catholic high school. Guess what? She's Catholic. Guess what? Giant crucifix in the foyer when you walk in. Sydney, yes. We need to make Jesus go away, right? And she said, what do you mean? I said, we can't have a 4-foot crucifix as the first thing you see when you walk through the door. And she said, okay, I don't understand why. I said, well, what if someone who wants to buy this house is Jewish? They're not going to have the same feeling about a crucifix on your wall as you do. So can we take that down? Because I'm not selling your home, I'm selling your house. Sure. I'm not making you give up your religion. I just don't need him staring at me on the wall when I first walk in.
Right.
Cool. Guess what? We sold her house in about 3 hours, right? Person who got it, not super religious.
Mhm.
Okay, right? That might have been the thing that switched her mindset.
Mhm.
if that was there, right? Same thing as if you have some shrine in your backyard to something else, like, made that go away, right?
I have a
Yo.
question. So I went to go show someone a house, and it was almost night. I pulled up, and it's like a big pine going around the house.
Uh-huh.
And I walk up, and there's a picture of a little boy, and I'm guessing he drowned in that pond. And that was always my biggest question because the agents didn't mention it when I spoke to them.
Right.
So, and I would feel terrible about moving. So I wouldn't buy the house if it were me. And the lady, it was nighttime, so she didn't see it.
Right.
But I was so curious to see if somebody would have saw it. What would I say? And I knew the backstory because after I remember hearing about him, but he lived the neighbor's child. The four-wheeler flipped in the pond or something. These people are leaving. So
Sure.
I just didn't know what I would say in that instance.
Your exact answer is, I don't know,
Okay.
right?
Mhm.
Because you don't know.
Right.
You assume that you know,
Uh-huh.
but you don't know. And that's not something that needs to be disclosed.
Mhm.
Now, if I'm having that listing presentation, I'm probably having that conversation, right? I would take that down, absolutely, right?
Yeah, I
Ju-
thought
Just,
about it.
yeah, and this is my interpretation, right?
Mhm.
Just because you have a headstone doesn't mean I need to go to your headstone to talk to you, right? You're not there, right? So the same thing with that. And if they choose that they don't want to take that thing down, you just explain to them, here's why I'm saying it. It's up to you.
Mhm.
That may be the decision between somebody doing this and not doing this. Cool.
Mhm.
That's your responsibility. Give them the info. You do with it what you will. Right? So jumping back into this, right? So you just have some other things. You can go through these bullet points, right? What I've done is taken a script, what this listing presentation is, and I've pivoted through other scripts to have this conversation with you of, do we want to just talk about price or do we want to do something else? If you're not comfortable with that, you're going to need to kind of go through this step by step through this process, because now I've got my bullet points. It keeps me on my path.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
When
question.
you asked about the pre-listing, you offered to pay for the pre-listing inspection?
Appraisal,
Appraisal, okay. Yeah, is that listed on there or is
Nope.
that just something, okay?
It's just knowledge that I've added
Right,
to
right.
saying, hey,
Uh-huh.
if we're really stuck on price, like let's
Uh-huh.
bring in an expert that's what they do. Maybe that's the thing that gets me over the edge, that
Yeah.
sets me apart,
Mhm.
right?
And it's I'm sorry, pre-listing
Appraisal,
appraisal. Okay.
right? This
Okay,
isn't something
that's
I would
right.
recommend all the time, because
Okay.
there's way more to it
Right,
than just saying it,
Okay.
right? If there's not a lot of comps, your pre-listing appraisal may make your price go down,
yeah.
right? So
Okay.
there's some decision that goes into that. If Steve had said that he was a visual guy, I may have had him flip to the next page and go through this wheel that's a little more visual. It doesn't have all the bullet points, but I could walk them through. Here's kind of the process that we're going to go through. This is what we call our seller roadmap, right? So I could walk them through this and I could start talking about it, right? So for example, Steve, when we list your home for sale, you're going to go on almost 500 websites. All the local brokerages, all the local agents are going to know that your home is for sale. We're going to get obviously the sign in your yard. I'm going to canvass your neighborhood again, letting them know. I'm going to make, to Rhonda's point, I'm going to do a just listed postcard. I'm going to send it to everybody in your neighborhood, right? I'm going to go talk to everybody in your neighborhood. We're going to do an open house. We're going to invite all your neighbors for a looky-loo. All the neighbors are going to want to see what your house looks like, right? So we're going to invite them to a little hour-long thing, and then we're going to have everybody else come, right? So I'm going to go through my different things that are my value proposition to help you list your home. Well, now I'm going to go into offers and negotiation. I'm not just going to read this. If everything goes well, a buyer, and most often the agent who represents them, will present your agent with an offer. Well, he doesn't care. He can read. So I'm going to talk about offers and negotiation. So here's what's going to happen in this step. We're going to get one, maybe multiple offers. Those are all going to come to me, and then I'm going to send them to you for review, and we're going to chat about it. Well, here's where I get to make my money. I'm negotiating for you. We don't have to take the offer just as is. We can negotiate parts about it. Now, as part of my fiduciary duty to you, Miss Natalie, I'm going to talk you through the pros and cons of the things we're negotiating, right? So if they come back and we listed your house at 240 and their offer is 239, like, are we really want to get into an argument over $1,000 if they're not asking for anything else? Probably not. That's probably a really strong offer. But if they offered you 239 and they want $6,000 in closing costs and they want $1,000 worth of home warranty and they want this and that, well, now you and I are going to talk about that. I'm going to do what's called a seller net sheet for you to show you what that equates to for your bottom dollar. And now you're going to give me some marching orders to go back and say, hey, I want to counter. I don't want to pay all those closing costs. Awesome. That's where we are in this together to get you the best price in the shortest amount of time with the least amount of hassle. Does that sound good?
That's-
I'm tying them down, right? Does that sound good? Does that sound fair? That's what you want, right? Tying them down to wanting to go with me, right? Then I walk them through the rest of this, right? We'll flip this back so I can go through the rest of this. The rest of this stuff, Mr. Steve, I'm going to kind of leave this for you as some light reading, right? So as we get to the staging part, getting your home ready for sale. Once we sign the paperwork today, I'm getting them already thinking about you're working with me, right? So once we sign the paperwork today, we're going to do another quick walk around, and I'm going to give you kind of some of the things that I noticed that would get your home ready to sell. But I'm going to leave this paperwork with you so we can follow up with this later, okay? Marketing, we've already started talking about this a little bit, right? I could go back into it if I need to, right? If he's like, no.
If you feel like it strikes a point with them, then you go and you dive into it. Other than
Sure.
that, just go
Sure.
through it.
Yep, absolutely, right? This is about you. If you're a D personality, I'm bullet points. I don't want you to tell me the whole story.
Right.
Sell the house for the most amount of money. I don't want any crap. Do it. Done.
That sounds like a plan to me.
Right? Super. Can go into this page about how we find your buyer, right? So again, it's a visual, right? Where do we find them? The internet and real estate agent is most of my Pac-Man. All this other stuff is extra where we can find buyers. But this is where a lot of our targeting is going to be coming. This is where I'm prospecting for you.
So would you throw in there also, because I used it yesterday and it worked on that appointment I had, that 89% of buyers
Yes.
use a real estate agent?
Absolutely.
I noticed it struck home with that guy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Knowing that data was a good tool to have to be able to pull out of your toolbox, right?
Right.
So absolutely. So where are we finding your buyers? Finding them on the internet from my advertising. We're finding them through their real estate agent. Well, 89% of buyers use a real estate agent. So guess what? I'm going to make sure all the local real estate agents know. Go through that again, right? It's in the details, right? All the things that we can talk about. Again, you need to have read through this and internalize some of it. I need to upload the new one because we just added the E, right? In the Y4C2Ts, right? You have the old one right now, it's not a big deal, right? But a little bit about Keller Williams and our Y4C2Ts. This is a promise from the Never Ending Referral Company that if you like it, use it. If you don't like it, take it out of your presentation. It makes no difference, right? But here's the promise. We're going to serve the community as a leader in the real estate industry and as a friend and neighbor. I'm going to promise to always do the right thing, even if it isn't the easiest. I promise to take care of your needs at the highest level, right? If this strikes a chord with you, cool, use this page. Feel free to go through any of it with them if you want to, or just leave this for something for them to read. Hey, Mr. Steve, there's no reason for me to read this to you, but basically what this is I promise to do the very, very best. Integrity is a huge deal to me, like we just saw on this previous page, right? If it's not a win-win, if this isn't good for you and it's not good for me, I don't want to do business, right? So you can read this later, but this is what I stand by. And then here's the last couple pages, Mr. Steve. This is just something to keep in mind when we get to the showing stage. Just some visuals, right? A lot of people will forget to do things like this. They'll leave their checkbook out, or they'll have their medications out, right? Or maybe your watch is in the stand by your bed and you forgot your watch that morning, right? Little things to be cognizant of, right? If you have any weapons in the house, right? Either lock them up or get them out of here, right? Because we don't want that liability. I noticed you had a big plaything in the backyard for your kids. Are you taking that with you or are you leaving that here?
Leaving it here.
Awesome, great answer, right? What about the really nice chandelier that I saw in the
Oh, no,
dining
my
room?
mama gave me that. I'm taking that with me.
Awesome. So here's my suggestions. Let's take that down now. Let's go spend $100 and get a different fixture and put it up that looks nice in this space. But let's take that down now because here's what's going to happen. It's gorgeous.
Right.
If I walked my wife in here, she would want it. And she's going to fall in love with your house because of your mom's chandelier. And now she's going to want to write an offer. And in our offer, we write the chandelier is not included, it's going with. And now that's a fighting point that she's like, but I really want it. And now her agent says, my client really wants this. Will you ask your guy if he'll leave it? I have to call you. I look like an idiot to you because you told me no,
Right.
but I have to ask, hey, I really want it. They really want it. Can you leave it? No. Now I either have to go call him and kind of be a meanie beanie to their client or say, well, how much is mom's memory worth? Oh, that's a hard conversation. Let's take it down now.
Right.
So now it's not a sticking point. I also noticed in your den, you've got one of those fancy schmancy $400 Nest thermostats. Are you leaving that or would you want to take that with you?
Oh, no, I won't take that with me.
Let's go buy a cheap thermostat because we're going to sell this house fast. You're not going to have to live with this for very long. Let's take it down now. So now it's not attached to your home. And by law, if it's attached to the home, that's part of the sale unless we write it down that it's going with you. Let's make everybody's life easier. Let's put a new thermostat up because you're going to have to put a new one up anyway.
Right.
Let's go get a cheap one, put it up.
So is that about the time when you would suggest, or any item, anything in your home that you absolutely want to take with you?
Yeah, let's go make a list right now.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Right? So in this conversation with you, I'm having soft little closing questions throughout it. And I asked you earlier, besides price, is there anything that would keep you from working with me today? No. If we solve the price, awesome. Are you ready to agree to work with me, Steve? You think I'm the right guy to sell your home?
Yeah, I think I'll go with you, Anthony.
Good. Take out paperwork. Let's sign it.
Right.
I'm asking this throughout. I'm not waiting till the end where I've been here for an hour, hour and a half
Right.
to go through this, right? So Steve, you have an appointment with your ex-mother-in-law, right? On
Yeah, she
Saturday.
loves me. She loves me. by
She
the way.
loves you,
She loves
right?
me.
If you spend an hour and a half going through this whole presentation,
No,
that's not just for practice. You wasted an hour and a half of your and her time.
right.
Now, if she's going to sign with you, cool. Use it for practice. Say, hey, Miss Sue, I'd love if you would do me this honor. Will you just pretend that you don't love me and you're someone I'm meeting with, right?
Right.
So I can go through and practice this and you give me some pointers? Oh, yeah, baby, I got you. Come on.
Right.
Sweet. Now you get practice and you're getting a listing. It's double dipping, right?
Sounds good to me.
The last page in here, Mr. Steve, is this. Preparation reminders before you list your property. So if you can pull together any previous closing documentation you have, if you have any appraisal docs, remember when you first bought this house, you probably got a folder with a bunch of stuff in it. You probably have never looked at it since.
Right.
Do you know where that folder is?
I have to go find it.
Awesome. If you'll find that for me, that'll make life easier on getting everything that I need paperwork done finished for you. Cool. Any repair records, right? You redid that bathroom 6 months ago. Do you have the receipt from where you paid that guy? Or do you remember who you used?
It was just some guy, a handyman guy.
Sweet. If we can find that documentation, that'll go a long way to proving that you had it professionally done versus Steve DIY'd it and there's a giant gaping leak in the wall that no one knows about, right? So I can do all of this stuff. I can even send this as part of my pre-listing if I want. So now I've got them thinking about it, right? Do you have any digital photos that you love? Do you have any photos from Christmas time when the house just looked amazing?
Wow.
Well, if you have any of those, I'd love those to use as part of my marketing to make it look what this house can look like during Christmas. Can send that out. So this can be part of my pre-listing. So when they show up, they've got all this stuff. If I walk in and I've sent this last page to them as kind of pre-homework, and I walk in to the listing presentation, right? And I'm going in front of the camera so my people can see it. If I walk in and they've got a binder sitting on the table with all this stuff, that's my listing. They've already started pulling all the paperwork together that I need for their listing to be ready to go.
Right.
Now, the last thing I would say is if it's a come list me, right? Miss Sue is a come list me, or I'm in a situation where I get the feeling like this is going to be a really good shot that I'm getting this.
Right.
Steve, you know what would be really helpful? If on Saturday when we meet, right, it sounded like we're going to be able to do business together. If you could have a spare key ready that I could take with me, so that way I don't have to bother you again with getting that key from you, along with this other paperwork that I've asked you to start pulling together. If you can have that spare key ready, that way we're one step closer to getting you live and getting your house on the market. Awesome. If I show up and there's a spare key sitting on the table, sign here, press hard, right? They want to do business, right? So again, I'm not going to waste my time, and this is a key point for you guys to understand. Do not talk yourself out of a sale. If you're on page 2 and they're like, let's do this, do not go, well, I got 9 more pages to talk about. Like I want to, like, let's talk about the curbside and landscaping. And no, shh. Take out the paper, sign it. But I want to tell you how great I am and all about the marketing. Close your mouth, sign the paper. Don't talk just because you want to hear yourself talk.
I think that's directed at me.
No, it's not. But you got to remember 4 personality types, right? DISC. D's are like me, bullet point. Let's move this thing. If I give you an hour and a half of my life, that's a lot of time and energy. We got to go.
Yep.
If I'm an I, I'm a talker, right, Rhonda? Right? So you're going to want to talk.
Wait, what letter am I?
You're probably a very high I.
No, what is I stand?
Oh, okay. I never heard of that.
I think it's influencer, if I remember correctly.
And what
Right?
does D stand for?
Dominant,
Oh, okay.
right?
Mhm.
That's better than what you could have said D stand for, right?
Uh-huh.
So the S is steadfast,
Uh-huh.
right? They don't like change.
Uh-huh.
Nervous Nellies.
Uh-huh.
Natalie, you got a little bit of S in you, right?
I'm an S.
Yeah.
I'll admit it.
And then C is you dot your I's, cross your T's, right? I got to get all my facts, right? You also have a lot of C in you, right? So the people who aren't going to jump fast are closer on the S and the C side. The people who are more impulsive are closer on the D side, right? And we all have different parts of these things. So when this is another great thing that is a tool in your toolbox. If you start really understanding personality types, you're going to be able to better communicate with your people, and you're going to be able to better meet them where they are. Because 75% of the time you're wrong if you're communicating the way you want to be communicated with. So why do I bother to ask you if you're bullet point or visual? Because if I just go the way I want to and I'm bullet point and I'm moving and I'm going really fast and I'm stressing you out because
Right.
that's not the way you communicate,
Yeah. Mhm.
I'm no longer a good fit for you as an agent.
Uh-huh.
I need to ask you, would you rather me go through this more in depth or would you like me to hit it at high level?
Mhm.
I need in depth. I'm now getting an idea of her personality type,
Right.
and I can communicate in a better way to her. I also have my D freaking out in my head going, this is gonna be an hour and a half, okay, right? I'm not gonna be able to speed up.
Uh-huh.
So I'm consciously making sure I slow down.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna consciously lower my voice.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna make sure that I have a smile on my face the whole time because my resting face is not a smiley face, right? So I'm gonna present to Natalie a different conversation than I'm gonna have with Steve and a different one that I'm gonna have with Michelle.
Uh-huh.
Because I need to communicate the way you want to communicate.
Right.
Does that make sense to everybody?
Yep.
Sweet. All right. We are almost done for the day.
Have y'all taken y'all DISC assessments yet? It's on the
No.
100. It's on the 100 days. You need to.
Yes.
Thank you.
Let me
Steve.
Oh, you're welcome.
let me
I'll print
share,
these up to
let me
practice.
share that with everybody right now so they can see
Oh,
that
so
in
we can-
your
Uh-huh.
in your Trellos
Okay.
underneath each one of you, right? So Rhonda, I'm going to use yours if you're okay with that.
Go for it.
Lovely. Pull up Rhonda. There she is. Right? We've got all these things. Well, in here are some directions. So the DISC personality, right? You spelled it wrong. That's a C. Right? That's funny. We'll make Warren fix all those. Right? So now there's a PDF so you can see what we're talking about. Right? So it's got some things for you to see visually about it. More importantly, it has this instruction page. So it tells you where to go. Go to Lewis' website, click this, put in this code, and now I'll get the results of what your DISC personality assessment are.
Okay.
Once I have them, they get loaded on here and we'll go through them. Steve, you did yours already?
Yes, sir.
Let's see if Warren has yours loaded in yet. Nope. So, just for fun in real time, let's see if it came through yet. Oh, I'm not logged in. Let's see if we can.
First time I ever did one like that too. I've never done anything like that.
Really?
I'm interested to see how it came out actually.
I bet
I
you.
don't want that.
I
Log me
bet
in.
you're a D.
That's
You're dominant.
All right, let's log me in and see what happens.
You're a super D.
No, Steve's not a. He's not a high D. He's not a high D. He has some D in there, I'm sure.
I'm teasing.
know, it's okay.
Let's see what happens here. Go to my drive. I'm doing this in real time, so we'll see if this actually works or not. See if yours came through yet, Steve.
There I am.
Where?
Pass me up. Go up one.
Aha. All right. So this was your assessment. We will go through and kind of validate this, right?
Okay.
Go through it, talk about it, right?
Yep.
But you're gonna have some transparency with the group here.
I'm good with that.
So I start scrolling through, I'm bypassing all these things. I start to get this, ooh, fun things. All right, we're gonna go all the way down to the big one so everybody can see it.
Excuse me.
Natalie's got some brightness going on. So Steve's got some cool stuff happening. So this is a big report, lots of stuff,
Wow.
right?
I didn't think it was like that.
Oh yeah,
Yes,
I know everything about you at this point.
Uh-oh.
All right, so now I get all the way down here. There we go, that's what I want. All right, so it gives me two things. It gives me your natural state and your adaptive style, right?
Okay.
So in your natural style, you are an IDS. All right, so we go in order. So 68, 64, 60. They're above the 50% line. So that means you lead with your I. So you're a little more people-y, right? You're social, okay? Your next highest one is a D though. So I like to do it my way, right? I
Right.
think my way's right, right? So I'll be people-y, but I'm pretty sure I'm right most of the time, right? And I'm gonna step outside my comfort zone. I'm gonna make my phone calls. I'm gonna go on my appointments, right? And then the next one is S, which is a little interesting that your D and your S are so close together because S doesn't like change a whole lot. So if I'm interpreting this data with not looking at this except for your graph, you're good, you're gonna do it as long as you think it's right. And then once I think it's right, I'm not changing it. This is the way I'm doing it. This is the way I do it. It's gonna take a lot to have that conversation to go, Steve, I think we can improve that. And if you've dug your heels in, that's gonna be a long conversation.
Wow,
Is that fair?
yeah, I do, I definitely dig my heels in.
Okay, cool. Now your C is way down at a 24. So that means dotting the I's, crossing the C's. You may suck at paperwork a little bit. Right?
That is so true.
So this is something that we're going to talk about, right? So now I look at what's the adaptive one. It's different, right? What is the adaptive? That means when you're in stress, what happens? Your D goes up. So this is why you're stressed right now. You're in a new career and you're really willing to step out of your comfort zone and do some things. You're leading with your D when you're in stress. Your people-y thing goes way down. So you go from a 68 to a 55, it drops to your third one, right? So now in times of stress, if we see Steve and he's got a little stressed look on his face and you can see he's a little frustrated or he's about to go to this appointment, not the time for us to try to get into a lengthy conversation about the weather with Steve. He's focused, right?
Yes.
And his S goes up. So, well, yeah, no, your S goes down just a little bit. So in stress, right, you're maybe a little more willing to some change of, tell me why that's better. All right, I'll try.
All right.
Your C goes up. So you get focused of, I know I have to do these things. I'm going to do these things. You probably like checklists.
Huh?
You probably like checklists.
Yeah, because I love when I was doing 100 days and that first week, I like to go down and make sure I was doing them all.
Right.
And when I was getting off of that, I was aggravated.
Right. I can see that by looking at this, right? So now this is how we can use, and Steve, thank you for letting us share your graph, right?
No worries.
This is now how I can start to interpret other people, right? So your perception of, oh, he's got a lot of D. He has some, mine's like a 94.
Oh, wow.
Right? So now get the perception of what's it like communicating with Steve versus communicating with Anthony. Well, there's a difference. So now you can start to put that in your data bank, right? Of, okay, if they're a little more aggressive, that's a higher D, that's more like an Anthony. A middle range D, but he's got some other people-y qualities. Like Steve's more fun to talk to just talking to. Okay, he's got some I. Now you're starting to figure that kind of stuff out, right?
Yeah.
You're talking to a person for your listing presentation. How are they coming across? I have to communicate with these people differently.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Rhonda, that makes sense to you?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Jay, make sense to you?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So this is another tool in your toolbox that you can have to use to become better and better and better, right? So go ahead.
How did you access that in Trello?
Go to your page with just your name.
Okay.
So your card that's just you.
Up here?
Aha.
Do I click on my initials?
Did you get my email?
I did. I
responded to
you.
Okay.
So just jump on my calendar.
Let's get
Otherwise,
him.
it's gonna take us just a couple
Oh.
seconds to go through it. So if you got a couple minutes
I don't
and we're
know.
done, I'll come in here and do it right now if you want.
Is that the
Okay.
piece right here?
Yeah. So not in the homepage for Trello.
Okay.
You. This is your page.
Okay. Okay.
So now, right here,
Okay.
that will give you the instructions on where to go.
Okay.
Really
okay.
cool. Appreciate that.
Thank
You're more than
you.
welcome. And that is how quickly I'm going to get an idea, right? And there's 50 some pages that we can go through to dig more into so you learn more about yourself,
Okay.
right? Now, how do I use that data, right? So just transparent so you guys see it before we get into our ahas, right? Let me share my screen one more time. I'm going to do this. We'll stare at Steve for one more second. We'll go back in here. See if any of these are still. I'll take your graph and put it on your homepage. So when I prepare to have a meeting with you, I take a quick visual and now I know, ooh, this person I need to communicate as an SC. When I go to communicate with you, I'm gonna pull this up. I got this visual in my head. It takes me 0.5 seconds to go, all right, I know how I can talk to Steve. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
So this is selfish for me too, right? So I know how best to communicate with Michelle, because Michelle comes in and she's not an ID, she's a CS. Like I better have my ducks in a row for bullet points and understanding, so she understands every step of the process, or she's gonna not get it. Right? Okay. Stop that. Last time, I promise.
Very cool.
Take a minute and turn to your last page in your, what one are we on? What page is that?
10.
10. Give it a 10. So turn to page 10 in your participant guide and take a minute and write down thinking, how it's changed, feelings, behaviors. What tools or models are you going to use? Are you going to spend some time researching DISC personalities a little bit and add that to your repertoire? I don't know. If you didn't see value in that, then don't do that. Are you going to go play in designs and try to do one in designs?
Yeah.
Are you going to utilize your Trello board? I don't know. But take a couple minutes, write down your ahas, write down your stuff, and then we'll have a little come together. And then today is a very short day for you for lead gen or whatever. We took all of our time, so today will just be kind of a class, but I think we got a lot of value today.
A
So
lot. I'm fooling, so I want to tell you, yesterday evening, I wasn't ready to go home yet, and I was fooling in command.
Mhm.
The more you fool with it, it gets a little easier,
you can't break it.
right?
Well, hold on, let me say that. You can break it, right?
Yeah.
We intentionally break it every day, right? To make it better,
Right,
but you're not going to ruin command the platform, right? You clicking around
right.
isn't going to make it where every agent in Oklahoma is like, what'd Steve do? No, like you can't break it for the process.
Right.
Okay. All right. So take a couple minutes,
Yep.
write down your stuff here, and then we'll talk about the ahas. Hello. I have a question for you.
For me?
For you.
What you got?
Your little whiteboard that's in your hallway.
Yes.
What are y'all doing with it?
Currently nothing.
Okay. Do you have plans to get rid of it or no?
Not to get rid of it. You
Okay.
need it?
No, if you guys were getting rid of it, I'm a pack rat, so I had a use for it if you were just gonna let it die a miserable death in the hallway.
Okay. I'll think that through.
Okay.
I might make a deal with you.
All right, sounds good. All right, so we're gonna jump into this. Before we jump into this, I want you to know something. Steve has the prettiest handwriting I've seen in a long time. It looks like elfish language over here. It's flowy. Right, hold on. We're going on camera with this thing. Look at this. Look at how nice that is. Look how pretty that is. That's nice. All right. You're welcome for embarrassing you.
See it.
Oh, you couldn't see it? Oh, I'll have to, hold on. You gotta see it. It's pretty. All right, tell Rhonda, can you read
It's
it?
pretty, see.
It
All I'm seeing is the ahas to achievement,
Oh,
taking
I'm
up my.
sharing. Well, hold on. We're gonna stop. If I'm gonna embarrass Steve, I'm gonna make
It's
sure I
flowy,
embarrass
yeah.
him. It's flowy. It's
Yeah,
nice.
it's flowy.
All right, so here we go.
That's what I
Here's
want to
the
be thought
camera.
of as I'm flowy.
Look at that. It's so flowy. It's nice.
Very cool.
See?
Mine's a mess.
Right, mine looks like chicken scratch, so, all right. So somebody share, besides our aha, that Steve has better penmanship than us, right? Steve can never argue about writing note cards, because his handwriting's nice, right?
Yeah.
Who has an aha, right? Isn't class fun? Who has an aha? Who has something?
I'll give you something.
Give it to me.
Okay. I mean, I always knew about the trying to mimic their mannerism. Like if you're on a listing presentation and their arms are folded or whatever, you fold your arms or, you lean in, that kind of thing, the psychology part of it.
Yep.
But I never really
mirror and
thought of,
matching. Yep.
yeah, I never really thought about like adapting to like what makes them tick, like your disc thing. So that's something that I need to try and figure out.
Cool. Okay. Here's another thing I'll add to that, right? Your disc personality is also going to speak to what type of lead gen you're more comfortable with. Why is Steve willing to make cold calls? He has a high enough D that doesn't bother him.
Yeah.
Natalie, you don't have a whole lot of D.
No.
So guess what you don't like? Cold calls.
Right.
So we need to find something that matches your
Yeah,
personality. Because
okay.
if I just jump up and down and say, you have to make phone calls,
Yeah.
you're going to quit.
Uh-huh.
You're not going to be
Right.
successful. You're not going to like it. You're going to leave.
Uh-huh.
If I jump up and down and tell Anthony, you have to go door knocking, I quit right now. I don't want to. That's not in my disc personality, right? So this is part of learn you better and learn other people better. Cool? All right. Who has something else?
Go ahead, Michelle.
I didn't have.
Oh, I thought you had one.
She was breathing.
So I was just going off what you was, Rhonda was saying, the importance of assessing your clients.
Sure. Yep. Talk to them the way they want to be talked to. Right? What else?
Level.
Anything?
That's sort of what I put, realize importance and how to approach prospective client.
Okay. Now, that was a big add-on, and it was one of the last things that we talked about, right? So again, let's talk psychology. Why do we ask people questions in the order we ask them? Because now they're focused on the last thing we talked about, right? So now I want to go back to what our topic was from today that we added to. What did you learn about the listing presentation? What did you learn about qualifying your sellers? So think back on that for a second. What was somebody's aha or your different thinking on qualifying sellers or the listing presentation?
Trying not to make it sound like a sales call, just trying to get their information without making it obvious that you get the information.
Cool,
Have a
right?
conversation with them.
So build that relationship, have a conversation. Love it. Okay, what else?
I would say on the assessing the A, B, or C would dictate on how often you're going to come in contact with those people.
Good. So who remembers how often should I contact an A buyer?
Every day.
Every day, or A seller, I'm sorry, every day,
Truly?
right? Yes,
I need to call a guy today.
yeah, you need to check in, right? Because if you don't check in,
I
I'm
wasn't-
gonna check in.
I wasn't thinking, I didn't want to feel pushy, so I met him yesterday. Now he's so ready.
So
He
why don't we have a signed listing contract?
had to go home and talk to his wife.
Right, so he's ready, but you haven't talked to all the players yet.
Right.
Wife might hate you,
Maybe.
don't know.
I hope not.
right? But you need to check in
Yeah,
today,
I will.
right? What about a B seller? How often?
Weekly.
At least weekly, right? Every couple days, every 2-3 days, or at least once a week.
Yeah.
And then C sellers, anybody who's 61 days or more, at least once a month,
Mhm.
right?
Okay.
Putting those people on smart plan is a good idea too, right? Okay, good.
Okay.
So I love checking back in, right? Anybody have anything else that this sparked questions or sparked concerns or ideas? My question would be this. You gave me a timeline for sellers. Well, how often am I supposed to check in with my buyers?
Mhm.
Like, it's gonna make me think about that. Nobody asked, I'm gonna tell you anyway, right? So if I'm checking in with an A seller every day, do I need to check in with an A buyer every day? Maybe,
Every
depend.
couple of days.
Yeah, maybe it's gonna be a little bit different, right? It may depend on, like, I have to buy something this week. I may talk to you a couple times a day, right? Or I'm ready, willing, and able to buy, still looking for the right place. So A buyers, I'm checking in probably once a week, no problem, right? Maybe every couple days, just kind of see where we're at. B buyers, right? Every couple weeks, right? Maybe once a month, kind of depending on where they are. I've got to sell my house first, or I've got to build my credit or whatever. C buyers, once a month, maybe once a quarter. They're definitely on a smart plan, and I'm following up as necessary, right? Because that's a longer term nurture, right? All right, cool. Well, I'm going to stop there, right? You have no additional responsibilities to me today. You have additional